matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Actually, he flips the conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Brett.
What?
Nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
conversation. He goes, I've noticed a little thing between you and Bryn.
What?
Nothing, nothing.
No matter what happens, I want you all to stay together, and I want you to do what you need to do to get out of here. Don't worry about me. Help as you can if you can. But mostly worry about yourselves, okay?
I'm not leaving you alone. You can do this.
If anything happens, I want to know that you will be okay.
I'll be safe.
Alrighty then, everybody. So, go ahead and recap last session. Sessions. It's easier. After you all had, well, Bryn specifically laid claim to the new keep for your group, rooms been divided and a vault even acquired and divvied up with some of the items and money that was found throughout the keep. During your last night of dinner there, you were interrupted by a knock on the door, in which Barnabas Elrith made his appearance. Coming inside and asking for the item which he had been owed for quite some time, telling you all that he had known that you were in the dream world, dream plane. So he was not too worried that you all had dipped out on Varad, but was still keen to get his hands on such a thing. Holding the black crystal in his hands, his skin started to slaw and spew off, falling to the ground, flying across the room, in which he teleported over in front of it, reclaimed it, putting it back into the stone box, and asking you all if you were ready to go home. With no other feasible way of making it home anytime soon, you guys decided, well, fuck, let's go ahead and do this. So, gathering your things, you all took hands, and with Barnabas Elrith, teleported into a room that Bryn was familiar with, the Commander's War Room, in which Barnabas Elrith was no longer there between you all, but instead Valek. He had told you that he had been posing as Barnabas Elrith for a while, and to wait there as he went and got a few other individuals. A few generals, Admiral Kazariak, Arix, the commander, and Valek's wife, Yelena. Here, Bryn had given over the information that she'd known about the job she was tasked with for General Rasmussen. They also found out that this black crystal was part of some god-level event that was slowly creeping over the horizon. Bryn's first, she was told to get information on the whereabouts of General Rasmussen, but now with this new looming threat, she has been given access to a plane-riding ship and under Admiral Kazariak, and now the job is no longer recon but rescue. So, with that, most of the people departed besides Arix and Valek, who stayed behind, Arx taking Nori to meet Avita, Lightbringer, in her new 5-year-old form. Valek taking Bryn to meet her biological mother and having to transfer the knowledge of what has been happening, what has happened to Floki. After those emotional turmoils, everyone eventually decided to reconvene at the tavern and turned one on. With pretty much no one remembering what happened that night. The next morning came into a haze and slight delirium to others. You guys, a couple of you, went to the magic shop to try and garner items that might be entirely necessary or entirely not, depending on how you look at it. But items were gathered in the one sanctioned magic shop in Castletown. And other bits of gathering, shopping, and overall day's activities have been done. But you guys have, I believe, one last day here to do anything, or end of the day here to do anything if you need to. Because Ariak is taking you, and you guys are leaving at dawn. So I'm pulling us back a little bit. So you guys can possibly leave behind, give stuff to people, let people know what might be happening, where you might be going. Possibly fix things in your lives that may need be fixing. But also, Castletown does have locations and lockers where you can leave items behind. Especially if you're part of the military, which Bryn is.
Contingency copy.
It's like you go to the skating rink and you have those little orange keys to open the little... So with that, you guys have a little over half of a day to do whatever you need to do in Castletown. Because Ariak will be taking you guys in the morning, bright and early. Rashi is actually going to do some things, but she's not going to tell anybody about it, so something happened.
I can't think of anything else Amric would want to do, except possibly explore the town a little bit more, maybe.
Okay. Any place specific you might want to look for?
No, he's just wandering.
Gotcha. Nori, you're getting set up with the large bag of holding. Rashi will eventually find you and ask you to... do you mind if I put this in the bag? As she's just holding a very large
What is
box. It's a wedding
What's
present.
in it? Okay, I guess. As long as it's not an extra dimensional place, I don't want things exploding.
No, it's just a really nice hammer for Valar.
Alright, Nora will open up the the bag that's nearly as big as she is.
Yeah, it'd be really sucky to go to the wedding with nothing. She kind of... It's a pretty heavy hammer. And she's, like, kind of shoulders it into the bag, and you're trying to, like, hold it open as it's huge to you.
And Chaw's just off to the side nodding at the aspect of getting a wedding present.
I need to find Arx to say one last thing, but the likelihood of me finding him is slim to none.
Well, you guys had sent that, when you guys had gone to the gate, that letter had gone out to Arx. He was the one that re-signed it and allowed you guys entry, so he is somewhere nearby.
Should I go back there? Try to...
I can say
like,
you can retcon the paperwork to request an audience.
Yeah, I want to request an audience with my brother.
Okay. When the paper came back and allowed you guys entrance to the academy and everything, he would say that on the paperwork back that if you wanna talk, he can swing by the tavern for dinner.
All right.
Yeah, he's a little busy right now. Anybody else want to get anything done?
This is a hint from you, and I'm aware of that, but I'm not sure what else I can do.
It's fine. I retconned for Rashi a little bit, but it's also opportunities for everyone else.
I'm just trying to think. Like Rachad doesn't really have it. Nobody even knows what a Kenku is around here. He doesn't have any way of getting back
The
to
military does.
Kenku.
I mean, if you wanted to send something back to the Kenku, there's large portions of the military caravans that go down there now. And they definitely deal with Artemir, and they know the Kenku refugee camp that's out there.
I think he's okay for the most part. Just looking through all my stuff.
He just really wants to see Tat Tat try the dress on.
I am actually going to change my mind. I assume there's some sort of post office.
Yeah.
I'll DM it to you later since I haven't actually done it yet. But Emmerich will at some point write a letter and address it to his father as well as he can anyway, since he doesn't know any actual addresses. But
easy enough to do. They're going to upcharge a little bit since they're going to be searching archives to figure out where he might be.
it's fine.
But yeah, if it's just a letter, then your family's there. Because you know what district they're in, right?
Yeah, I asked Valak and he said District 3.
Okay. Yeah, so since you know that, it lowers the range for them down a little bit. So, just regular speed?
Yeah, just regular is fine.
Okay, that's only going to cost you 8 copper.
How much would expedited shipping be? Can I get 2 day?
2 day? That's a little out there. Doable, but costs you like 25 gold.
No, I'm kidding. Just somewhere in between.
Yeah. So regular would get you there in 3 weeks. Faster would get you there in about a week. And that's going to be 3 gold.
Yeah, I'll pay the 3 gold for the week.
Nori would suggest to Kaparan for him to maybe call his mom.
Kaporn would do so immediately as you bring it up. And after he's done mentally talking with her. She's fine.
Great.
She was busy.
Which lands is she in again?
She's in Cowan.
Emmerich bringing up the letter thing. Would they be able to get something up to Lingby?
Yeah.
Or no? They would be?
Well, it's not like the regular messengers are going to be able to do that. So post office wise isn't, but military you can.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I want Bryn's gonna, I think, write a letter to her parents. Yeah. And she'll send that off, I guess.
Okay.
How much would that be?
Since
If
going through
anything.
military channels, it's a little bit different. You don't really get options in speed. But it's just 4 silver. Because, unfortunately, only few people can go into Lingvi and come back alive. So, it's a niche market.
Should we tell them we've got a pretty interesting bird they might want to take a look at?
You might not want to say that, and Bryn would probably point that out. Because if their ways are being taught outside of their walls, that's... You're going to get some clandestine Valkyries kidnapping you in the middle of the night.
Oh, I wholeheartedly am prepared for when we show up, whenever we need to show up there, that I will be killed on the spot. And then they'll be like, oh, I guess he's not that bad and revive me.
Richard's gonna walk in, poof out his wings, and immediately get black bagged and thrown in a van. Okay, so if nothing else, dinner time comes around. Arx meets you guys' group at the tavern. Already drinking.
Nori will grab the cup and slide it away from him and go, "We need to talk. Elsewhere."
All right, but the way that you're saying that, can I finish the drink?
No.
Always a potty pooper. And he turns around and starts walking out of the tavern. Your passive perception, you hear a of a top being unscrewed of something.
Rx.
Hmm?
She too distracted for my stealth to be successful.
And then you see Richa like waddling up next to you, trying to like hide through the. Unfortunately, the door's too small. It's not a double door; it's just a single door. So Richa like times it incorrectly. It like has to stop halfway through to let you walk by.
Nori won't stop him. It's not like she just wants him to be mostly alone. As long as Rx doesn't spot Raja, it's fine.
I'm sure he spotted me. He probably has a better perception than you.
I was gonna say, Arx has like a 29 passive perception.
Now I just want to take expertise in perception just to spite him.
His insight and his perception are ridiculous. His investigation sucks.
Despite the fact him being a wizard.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point. Alright, so gets outside and you hear the screwing of a cap. Once more before he turns around.
You idiot. So, you know how we were in the dream plane, right? That's why I'm a little bit older now.
Yes, no, if only your personality had matched.
Technically, you are younger than me. Like,
oh, definitely.
you're a high elf, and I'm a half elf. So, I am more mature than you.
Well, you definitely are
General.
a half elf.
Oh my gosh. Why do I do this? Just, listen. When we were in the dream plane, at one point we thought we were out because of we were in this desert thing and we couldn't see the blurriness of the world. And we called different people. And when we called different people, they were from the future. We called Perrin's mom. She was from 3 years in the future, and then an unknown amount of years in the future. And then we called you. And that was what scared me, is that you were talking about how you couldn't find me and how it wasn't safe anymore. And that father was dead, but that I shouldn't come back, that it's not safe and that you can't keep me safe. And you guys talking about whatever it was, whatever you guys are doing, researching with that weird stone, that was my first thought, I guess. Just stay safe and be careful.
Well, sister, you know those usually don't go very well together. But
I know.
Unfortunately, without a lot of delving into the dream plane myself, from what I've heard and what you've told me and some of the research I've done, especially with the Jinn myself, the few months that I spent with them, don't trust pretty much anything or everything you see or hear in a dream plane, especially if it's not your dream. Now, I'm not saying that whatever you heard, saw, felt, experienced, or anything was anything less. I'm just saying that pretty much everything that I've been told, seen, or recorded myself has dictated along those lines that when you aren't the dreamer, everything, consciously and subconsciously, tends to attack and focus in on you.
Okay. That's good. I don't know enough about magic.
I will still be careful. As careful as I ever am. As he kind of like gestures to his face.
Definitely.
Look, I don't tell you to change how you are.
I'm not telling you to change. I say this because I love you.
And I say this because I love you. You need to get laid, sister. As the flask kind of comes back out of the back pocket area, and he starts to unscrew it. Before taking a sip, he kind of like offers it to you, like,
I have to get up very early tomorrow, Oryx.
oh, this will put you to sleep even faster.
Last time you had me drink, it ended poorly. Last time we all drank here, it ended poorly.
I don't know about that.
Ended poorly.
I had a great time.
Yeah, what happened while we were out?
Oh, you know, speaking to undead beings, talking to gods, challenging the different planes of existence, you know, the usual.
I'm going inside.
You too, stay safe, sister. I'd like to see you again. Preferably roughly the same age and how you look now.
That would be much preferred.
I'm especially talking about the hair.
What is with you and my hair? I feel like I should change it just because you keep telling me to.
It's just nice to see you with your natural hair. Remember, I grew up with you being a blonde.
I hate you sometimes. And then she'll give him a hug.
That's how you know we're family.
Exactly. Now I'm going to go worry.
He gives you a little pat on the head and a little noogie. And before you can like reach up and slap his hands away, he just is gone. And then there's a little paper bird that's chirping in your hair.
I take the tiny bird.
It's like a little origami little bird that's kind of chirping and little hopping around, almost like a baby chick.
Nori kind of like holds it in her hand. Yeah, she'll just kind of hold it.
And then it goes, and it just puffs into a bunch of shredded little pieces of paper.
You are so weird.
Todd just sort of nods and goes, "You need to get laid, sister."
What is it? What is with you guys?
You let him be a part of that conversation. You knew
did.
the shit
I
Art
did.
says.
That's why Art's fucking cynic. Found it. Nori just very quietly goes, mistakes were made, and goes inside.
Damn you, God.
I do
That
think
makes-
it's very funny that canonically Avita does know you exist.
The man with the hats. Alright, so you go in for dinner. Anything else before you guys want to do before going to bed? No? Kaporin?
Anything we should be doing?
Well, Kaporin's gonna flirt, as Kaporin does. Kaporin's gonna fail, as Kaporin does. No roll needed. Actually, Rich Shaw, give me a persuasion check.
Because of the wingman situation.
It's gonna be more if Rich Shaw succeeds. Okay. Richa, you find this very fair-skinned, but decently large, height-wise. Looks to be a Goliath woman. That you hooked Kaporin up with a Goliath woman once before. And he said thank you. So, as the night goes on, and go ahead and add a Kaporin's sheet. Can you roll a performance check? He swoons her with the music. And as Racha, you're kind of bouncing around and you know, being a wingman, she asks you about him, and you just immediately get everything triggers in your brain, and you're like, yes, I'm gonna do it again. And by the end of the night, they go to the same room together. By the morning, Kaporin has no shoes. Without an extra male assistance, Kaporin could not feel the need to arise. And so, out of spite, she stole something, and she stole his shoes.
Racha would get him some new ones.
We have 2 left ones at least.
I do, but I don't want to give him my 2 left ones.
But remember, because Ariak's coming before the dawn. So there's no unless you're going to steal the shoes from someone.
Do I see her leave with the shoes? Can I steal them back?
No, because you'd be on the roof. Knowing you, that's probably where you're sleeping. So yeah, you wouldn't have seen her leave.
I'm just trying to get Kaporin to go on this trip without shoes. Is this your plan?
That's how he learns he's not seasick while he's barefoot on a boat.
He's got to feel the wood with his feet. Okay, so I believe Kaporin has an extra pair of shoes. He just has to wear his fine shoes with his common clothes.
They're his yachting shoes.
Yeah, exactly. His boat shoes.
Just wearing boat shoes. He's gonna get made fun of by all the soldiers.
But in the morning before dawn, everyone gets dragged. Different modicums of respect, with Kaporin being the least. And eventually, down in his yachting shoes, it's almost as if it's a scene in a movie too, where everyone's lined up side by side, and it's just the camera's panning across the feet, and it's like traveling boots, traveling boots, traveling boots, traveling boots, silk slippers, and then it zooms up to Kaporin, and because Aryak's just walking by. What are those? They're my yachting shoes, sir. Then he just looks Kaporin over and goes, I wouldn't expect anything less. Alright, so with that, Kazariak would enlist the aid of 2 wizards of the Admiralty of Ixia to send you guys over to District 8. Going to that same location I had told you guys in the end of last session. It is a completely barren dock. Many guards swarm the different streets, keeping people in. Sunrise hasn't completely come about just yet, but Kazariak sits upon the dock with you, and the gangplank behind. You will all walk onto the gangplank, see Ganymede Gregorios at the helm. Gangplank is kicked off onto the dock by Kazariak, and you guys are off as the the wheel of the ship gets lifted, pulled, the levers come out, Kazariak and Gregorios both together in unison, setting the ship forward as you guys start to sail out. No assistance needed for the more coastal situation, and once you guys are decently far out to the point where the town is not but a couple breaks on the horizon, does Gregorios take over the helm, and Kazariak comes down and starts talking to you all about what jobs you're going to have. Racha, yours is simple.
I was already up there.
You've been up there. So there are 6 available jobs, besides Rachaw's already taken one, so 7, but that one's kind of a gimme. It's not even called a crow's nest, it's called a Kenku nest. It seems like someone has pulled some of your design from when you were atop the cart, Rachaw, as there's like the lean back chair, you got the umbrella over. It's pretty nice up there, though slightly shoddily built underneath as supports. You can work on it for like a couple hours to really shore it up if you needed to.
Yeah, I got this.
You guys just look up, Rachaw's hanging upside down, just banging away. His coconut helmet keeps slipping off, and he's just like, nope, and puts it back.
Bryce doesn't use rope to make a tie around for his.
I was gonna like,
underneath
I was
chin.
like, I'm gonna use Druidcraft, like make a little chin strap out of just like the normal plant that would be around a coconut.
We've got a completely live chin strap, or living chin strap that's made out of good plant, and then you've got a rotting coconut.
Oh yeah, that coconut
Just
is
falling
just,
apart.
Like, the coconut starts at one size, and as you try to like feed some of this like plant matter and rope through, it just keeps breaking chunks of it off. So it goes from being like a full covered like skull helmet to being just like a skull top helmet.
Like a little yarmulke almost, a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit bigger.
Note to self, get another coconut for Rachal.
So we have out of everyone who's left, who has the most dex?
I
I'm
have
at
a
13.
I have a 14.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably Nori, unless Rashi's got some good
Rashi's
dex.
14 dex.
It's certainly not me.
I'm proficient in acrobatics, if that helps.
Not really. This is more of aiming. Go ahead and roll a d4. Rashi will be evens, your odds. Okay, so Rashi is going to be a gunner's mate. Helping assist on one of these interesting weapons. Not quite ballistas, not quite cannons. You'll all see what it does later. Okay, who has the highest intelligence? This is a very
Rachel.
interesting question.
Also, definitely not me.
Perrin, actually. Gives me +1.
Okay, he's gonna be.
Chaz +2.
Richard's already taken. Okay, so he's gonna be helping with mapping and navigation.
Oh, that. Would Nori get like bonuses to that since I'm an
This is plain
outlander?
writing.
Okay. Okay, then never mind.
Okay, so those are the ones that are more like specific skill based, and now the rest can be chosen. So we're gonna need that's done. Options are one person to be a masked hand. So basically, from going, because plane riding doesn't use masts, and the initial propulsion of this boat doesn't use masts either. But there are going to be situations where a mast hand is needed. Now, if a mast hand is needed, you're going to have to make a choice. If combat or something is going on, whether or not to help with combat or help with the masts, because it is going. When a mast is needed, it is fucking needed. So this, depending on situations, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but in case the roles happen in this way, and battle is happening when masts are needed, who would be down? And it's most likely going to be between the two fighters.
I suppose. Emmerich.
All right. You good with that, Bryn?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So I got Amric down for the masked hand. Alright. Next is going to be a boatswain's mate, helper. So, this is a person who might have to help steer the ship. That means learning the levers, learning how to coincide with whoever else is on the other side of the wheel, and steering the ship in case shit goes south and people get incapacitated.
Amric really likes the
I was gonna
ocean.
say, yeah,
Would-
could
would
we
Bryn be
know
willing
what
to
the
switch?
others are before we pick?
It's more of like he's bringing these options to you guys at one by one. Like, all right, I've got this job. Who wants to do it? Oh, I'll do it. Okay. And then he writes it. You could swap if you want to.
I mean, if Emmerich looks more interested in it, Bryn will offer to.
Amric really
Got it.
wants to. At some point, Amric would like to learn how to sail, and possibly operate his own ship.
Okay.
Then Bryn can take the masked hand one,
All right.
and Emmerich can have that.
So Bryn's masked hand, Amric, Eats. Alright, that'll work. Next one is a ballast mate. So this person is going to help below deck in transference of, because basically portion of the ship underneath the water is submerged in water. So like it's filled with water, and depending on the different speeds and things that are happening, you may have to fill the bottom up quickly with water or release it full of water, depending on which plan you end up jumping to, how fast you need to be going, things like that.
Well, worry 1 was seasickness, but less worry 2 is that Nori can create water. I guess those were my first 2 thoughts.
Well, this location of the ship, they have tanks full of water that can fill, and then they have jettisons to get the water out quickly. Because they don't always have a druid on hand, so they need to be able to do this without having a druid. So, it doesn't have to be you, is what I'm saying. It can be you or Kapoor.
I thought Kaporn was doing mapping and
Oh yeah,
navigation.
Kapoor is doing, and Rashi's gunner's mate. Okay, so you can take the job if you want to, or you can take the last job.
What is the last job?
Last job is ballast, postman's ballast. Propulsion's mate. You'd basically be working in the engine room, and then another sort of thing. It's all kind of coinciding with the plane riding of the ship. If something drastic happens in any degree, you're there as like an engineer to help. They'll teach you what to do, how to change the engines from going to like idle to full to half and whatnot. But in case someone else gets knocked out, you have to take over.
I would be more confident myself with the water thing.
You're like, that's cool, but I like water. Water it is.
Like, that's cool, but you're asking a druid to work with tech.
Okay. Well, the other part's gonna be tech too. Alright, cool. So ballast mate it is, and that takes their one floater person and it puts them in the propulsion's mate. Okay. So everyone's got a job, right? Cool. So with that,
What did Kaporin take?
Warren's doing mapping, navigation, which it's less like regular navigation and more like figuring out portals, moving between the planes, pushing yourselves in the right direction, and coming out where you want to be. Yes, Kaporin holds the fate of you all. Should be fun.
Oh boy.
Okay, but you guys nonetheless start your journey. Who wants to take the first roll.
I'll do it.
Ren stepping up. I need you to roll a d10. So, you guys are coming out from right on District 8, where it has that little hook of a peninsula. You guys are on the very edge of that. And you guys start heading in a southwesternly direction. Kazariak telling you that you guys are going to skirt the outside of the cliffs, so that way you don't have to worry about Artemir and the Elven Armada. Luckily, for the first few days, weather is good. There's no impedance in any direction. You all learn your shifts decently well without having any stress added to it. So that allows you guys to have one extra reroll for anything that you do connected to your location, your job on the ship. It gives you guys time to practice, is basically what it is. After making this time, Kazariak gives you guys a rough outline of how long it should take to get down there, depending if the planes are beneficial or not. And it's going to take right around 3 weeks, and maybe a little bit more, to get down past the cliffs. With this, Rashi is going to bring up the fact that the wedding is coming up. And if anything, everyone on the ship is more than welcome to attend the wedding. If that'll help her possibility of being able to make it. Kazariak, let me do some rolls. Kazariak rolled a 3. So he's not gonna say no. He's not gonna say yes either. But it's more of, wait till we're out of danger, and then we can reassess our situation.
Out of danger.
Past the Elven Armada. He brings up the point that you guys still have to do a little bit of info gathering anyway. And those that don't go to this wedding can still use that time that you guys are possibly there to go and recon themselves, sending a few of his more sneakier individuals into other places to possibly find out info. Music had fucking started bumping. Alright, who wants to roll for this next leg?
I sacrifice myself for this.
Alright, roll a D10.
Alright, how many days is that so I can cross off my calendar?
4 days.
Is the box that I have for Tat's dress look like a wedding present?
It's not a box, it's a, it's like that newspaper covering with the twine wrapped around it. So it's
Gotcha.
that brown paper, you know?
I understand. I will put a tag on it saying for Balar and Ame and from the Fable Chasers.
3 ties is too small, but this should be interesting.
Oh no. And we
Balar
don't know
will fit it.
this.
There we go.
3 sizes too small width-wise, if it's for Balar. Okay.
He saw that Rashi got a gift for Balar and feels like Ame deserves one too. That's all. That was his thought process.
Nevertheless, you guys are traveling for 2 days before Kazariak and Racha. You notice this off into the distance. What looks to be a mast poking halfway out of the water, not too far off, but definitely submerged. You guys are still over Ixian waters, so Kazariak is compelled to go take a look. So, you guys pull up alongside, and it is definitely a sunken ship of some sort. Looks relatively new, but isn't holding any flags, colors, or symbols of any of the Ixian ships that have been created. Kazariak, with his knowledge from being from Cydia, tells you that this looks to be some sort of spice trader that has come up from Cydia, possibly trying to make good on some of the new connections between the two countries. But unless someone investigates and goes down into the water to check itself, check the holds and see what sunk them, they're just going to have to record it and move on. He didn't bring the people for underwater investigation.
I'm just getting flashbacks.
Nori's life is a series of flashbacks.
It really is. She's colossally unlucky. On top of poor decisions.
I'm not pressuring anybody, just now's the chance if you want it. Nuts, I'm just gonna mark it on the map, and he kind of snaps to Kaporin, and Kaporin like goes back there, and the guy that he's working with like slaps him in the back of the head. It's like, pencil, not pen.
There are dead bodies up there?
Possibly. Current probably would have taken any floaters though.
Is this something where we would have time to fully investigate?
I'm not saying, go down there and find out what they had for dinner at their last meal. I just go down there, see if there's holes in the side of the ship, or I can't
If
see.
someone wants to jump down there, I'm more than willing to cast water breathing.
2 plus 2, I figured water.
Rashi off to the side, has a backwards hat on, has a cigar out of her mouth. You just hear her go shh, shh, to the giant thing that she's behind. She's like, I got your back!
And Rajah, that would say in dark or Underdwarven, you little bird, I like your stuff.
She flicks a switch and you just hear a...
That is concerning. Please stop.
Rajah feels comfortable enough that he would dodge it and would be willing to go down if people would want him to.
Emmerich
Alright.
down to go down.
Nori will cast water breathing on you. Oh, fuck it. Nori will cast water breathing on everybody.
Okay, so everyone has it just in case. So, Amber Crenshaw?
I suppose one of us should probably take the manta ray cloak.
Nori will. Let's see. Rachal's very fast, so maybe Amric.
Yeah, and I also have my Banff cloak.
Alright, give the cloak to Amric.
Wait, can I even wear it with the cloak of protection?
One cloak at a time. No cloak on cloak on cloak.
You gotta be like Vax and just have your coat rack with you.
I will I will take off the cloak of protection and put on the manta ray cloak.
Alright.
Does that unattune it?
Yeah, unattune the protection cloak. If you're not wearing the item for more than a minute, it unattunes it.
Just add the mandatory cloak to my inventory, and then Amric is ready to go.
All right. So both of you jumping in.
If anything goes wrong, good luck.
So you
For
guys,
the love of all that is holy, don't poke it. And he just like waves, like scoffs it off, kind of thing.
jump down and into the water and start investigating. Top of the deck seems to be completely intact. Just looking around the outsides of it as well, not really getting too close right away. There doesn't seem to be any large holes anywhere. So it didn't take any sort of like cannon fire or ballista fire or anything like that. From the outside, it looks completely intact. The only thing that really is taking damage is the masts.
It is underwater though, right? So something
It's-
had to have let water in.
Yeah, it's like half sticking out of water. Just the backmost mast is out of the water.
Can I do like a little lap around it to
Yeah, give me a
see
perception.
if I can see all the sides, if there's a hole somewhere?
Amric's mostly playing bodyguard.
Looking around, doesn't seem to be any holes. You do see that it looks to be currently, as it's sunk, resting on a little bit of like a coral shelf.
Does it seem like entangled or anything in that coral shelf, or
Nope,
just sitting
resting
on
there.
top of it?
Looks like the current probably pushed it up against it and just kind of pinned it there.
All right, that happened one time. He'd look towards Amric and be like, 2 + 2, I figured water?
Uh, Amric's pretty much just following you because again he's just here to play bodyguard. So he's gonna say whatever you think, Richaw.
I'll get up relatively close to it, but I'll be like watching for any sort of movement around.
Okay. The open top deck portion for the staircase going down seems to be unblocked and unfettered in any way. There is no captain's quarter on this ship. So beyond that, there's the offhanded rope that's still attached to different portions of the ship that's kind of moss covered and starting to get eaten away by some of the sea life. But from the outside, it doesn't look like anything nefarious or untoward in any way.
And you said it was like a spice trading ship, so it's only something like a 35-foot sailboat,
It's
or is it
actually
like
a
a
decently
yacht?
sized boat. This one you're looking at about 55 feet long. He said that the colors were a spice trading ship. But without asking Kazariak for more information on it, I mean, you don't know spice traders and how big their ships are.
Yeah, I was just trying to get like are we looking at an armada ship, or are we looking
No,
more
definitely not
at
an armada ship.
a sailboat?
Somewhere in between. Kind of like, oh crap, I forgot the term for it. Like a merchant ship.
Yeah, I guess Ratra would head on in just to see if he could ascertain whatever sunk this ship, and he'd go in with stealth though, and be wary of traps still.
Alright, roll some stealth.
And since Amric is very not stealthy, he'll follow like 15
He stealth
seconds
so hard you
after.
can't even tell where he went.
Great.
He'll just sort of like at the door be like, "Wait here."
And then
Emmerich will wait there.
the black blob of the bird seems to just disintegrate into the water. You blink away and he's gone. All right, going inside, there are a few crates and different things that are just casually floating now underwater in different portions of this compartment. There are a few dead bodies down here. Looks to be a few Triton individuals, as well as mainly half elves. But they don't. They're dead. They've bloated, and they're starting to turn that interesting shade of green. But besides that, there's no like cuts, wounds, or anything of that nature to signify any sort of battle of any kind. The inside here, as far as the woodworking goes, and you've got a keen eye for woodworking now. Nothing seems to be structurally inundated or destroyed, but there is another staircase going down to a third level. And you see an occasional bit of coin kind of just resting at different portions of this compartment.
There's only like 3 bodies, you said, or is there more than that?
There's 5 bodies here.
Are any of them like roughly my size?
The closest one would be the Triton woman, but even she's like probably a good 6-7 inches taller than you.
I'm asking for dimension door purposes. So would I be able to take that corpse with me if I dimension doored with it?
Yeah. I'd allow
Alright,
it.
well,
It's not a person, it's just an object now.
technically, yeah. But it has to be my size still, I would say. I would assume. But I'll keep heading down deeper, still being careful of everything.
Okay.
Though, if I need to make a break for it, I'm gunning for that corpse and then dimension dooring up to Amric.
Okay. Getting down to this bottom compartment. Make a perception check for me. Okay. Getting down here and looking around, there's about 7 more bodies, mostly half-elves as well. All bloated and kind of floating in different portions of the compartment. A few more crates. One seems to be spilling out a little bit of, not a black liquid, but something inside is mixing with the water slightly. It's probably a spice box that has a small hole in it, and the water just kind of sieving it out. There is a small locked chest that's reminiscent of the chest that Bryn just bought that is floating around here. But there's also another chest that is the most interesting out of everything, because as everything is floating or kind of tumbled off to a side, this one chest almost looks like it's permanently affixed to the very bottom down here. And you can swear you see the lid of the chest kind of rising and falling ever so slightly. And then as you kind of focus and start to listen, you hear coming from the chest.
Interesting. Can I tell, like, in close inspection, how long these bodies have been bloating and stuff, or would I even know what a dead body's duration is?
I mean, it's still soon enough to where the skin's not completely slawed off, but they're definitely bloated up, so you're guessing anywhere around the 2-week mark.
Hello there.
No response, just continued crying.
He'll sort of like get closer to the chest, but not like. I'm gonna stay probably 15 feet away from it, ish.
Okay.
Have a weapon drawn, but not really like brandishing it like I'm gonna strike at it. And say, it's okay. Some people suck, some people don't.
For the record, Rachel has 3 minutes before I follow him in.
No response.
Does it seem to be doing anything different, or does it just keep crying? Is it increased in volume or anything?
As you've gotten closer, it's gotten a little louder, but other than that, no.
I hate being the curious character all of a sudden. He's gonna keep he'll in his other hand pull out his 3.5 feet of extendo pole left and go up towards it and be like, hello there, and sort of like slightly lift open the thing, but if it looks like it's trapped, he's probably going to be wary of that still.
Okay, you get a little bit closer and try to lift the lid's heavy. You can't lift it with just that little pole.
Can I like slide the pole into it though?
It doesn't open that much. Like, cause it closes with such force every time it does close that it just kind of shoots the tip of the pole out.
Anybody in there?
No response, just crying. I always like the most curious character is also the person that can't like explicitly say what they ever see. So it's always well, people fucking back in the day.
He, because I imagine if it's heavy enough to not be able to lift with the pole, that it's probably too heavy for his regular hands. So he's going to swap, or he's going to burn a key point and bring out his hands, and then from 10 feet away, because I have 10 feet reach with it, lift it up with my my spectral hands.
So you're lifting up the chest?
Well, when you say it like that, I don't really want to, but yeah, I will slowly
Just
raise it, not like flip it
I'm
open.
trying to figure out
But
if you're
yes, I am.
opening it or if you're lifting it.
Yeah, I am opening it and saying like "hello there,"
Make a
but
strength
still
check.
flipping it up with wisdom, just straight shot.
If your hands can go yowie after being slammed on, they would. You internally go, ooh, that would have hurt.
Well, I'll never. You're no fun.
It doesn't change. It just continues crying.
Is there like a handle or anything
Yeah,
on
its
it?
handles on either side.
Can I try and like it move from its affixed position, or like
You
jostle it, like slide it away from that spot?
Are you just trying to slide it? No, it doesn't move.
Can I? If I look around, does anything seem to have been annoyed with my movement of this thing?
Nope. Everything's exactly in the spots that you last seen it.
I will try it one more time, and if I don't, I'll go back up to Amric.
Lifting the lid?
Correct.
Okay, go ahead and give me a strength check. You try to lift the lid, you get a hold of it, and you stop it from closing right away, and you're fighting it, but snap, and then it goes back to crying.
In Rashi's voice, he'll say, "Let me help you." So bringing back the when Nori was bleeding out internal like crazy, but the he'll make his way back up to Amric. He'll bring whoever seems to be the most captain oriented of the dead bodies up with him, though.
Okay. It'd be the larger Triton individual.
Does it look like it has a key on him by chance?
The chest that's crying doesn't seem to have a keyhole.
Well, he'll bring the body up with him, pull it up next to Amric, and go with my arm still glowing in it. It was like, it's fucking heavy.
Amric, not gonna argue. He's just he'll take the dead body. Anything interesting down there, Richaw?
He'll mimic the crying.
Is there something alive down there?
I mean, it's an option.
Do you want me to go with you to check it out?
Kinda. He like looks a little sheepish, like I wanted to do it myself.
Okay, we can go down there together. Let's he'll kind of, as much as you can while you're underwater, prop the dead body up against the wall.
Okay, little weekends at Bernie's.
For just a half second until it's
It slowly
done floating.
slides over to the left, yeah.
And then
You all get like, an
Amric-
interesting taste in your
yeah.
mouth as he's slightly punctured his stomach, and now the insides are
Oh
seeping.
boy.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and let that dissipate for a little bit while we go back down.
Alright, so yeah, you see the same thing. Most notable things down here are the dead bodies, the crates with some sort of spice kind of slowly getting melded out of it, the small little locked chest that's floating off into the corner, and then the large chest fixated to the floor that seems to be crying.
Amric-
Sorry, I was gonna say, can my all-purpose tool turn into a crowbar?
Yeah.
I will pull that out and morph it into a crowbar and go help out.
Sure. Amric will help him out.
Alright, what are you guys doing?
And I'll go up to the box again this time, and like look down at it and like pet it gently and go, "We're here to help," and then try and open it again.
We're here to help. Let me jam this thing into your mouth.
Not necessarily do that, but
Richaw, is that alive?
oh,
Slam as he jams the crowbar into it. Go ahead and give me a strength check with advantage if Amric's helping.
Amric, you're gonna have the better. Can it be athletics for him?
No, this is just straight strength.
Amric's down to negative. Richaw doesn't want to.
Yeah, go for it, and then I'll be the one helping you with my crowbar. Trying to be as gentle as possible, coaxing, being helpful towards this mimic. I'm assuming it's a mimic you're...
Only 14. Oof.
With the crowbar inside. Flip, 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 flip. Luckily, it's a magical item. And it doesn't just eat part of the crowbar. But it slams itself shut and shoots the tool out of your hand. Luckily, you're underwater, so it doesn't get too far before you swim up behind it and grab it again. Goes back to crying.
this point where Chaw's just like, let me love you.
Sorry, I'm not used to doing this underwater. But I could try again if you want.
I mean, it's an option. Doesn't in his own head, he's like, doesn't want to talk to us for some reason.
We could also just leave it be.
Yeah. It's like
Whatever.
he looks defeated, but he agrees.
After Richard agrees, Amric will go over to the tiny chest and he'll go, "Didn't Bryn just buy one of these?" I'll kind of hold it up for Richard.
I mean, it doesn't look exactly the same. It's just roughly the same size.
I don't think Amric. Yeah, does it open?
It's locked.
Is it how big of a size is it in comparison to the other chest, the crying one?
The crying chest is like a good 3 foot long, 3.5 foot long, by 2.5 foot wide chest. Like the crying chest is pretty big. This one's more of like a foot by a foot.
Can I look at it and stuff? Does it seem like it's trapped or pickable in any way?
It's got a lock on the front of it, but as far as trap goes, make an investigation check. Looks good to you.
We're taught being weird and awkward and clever about it. We'll take the box and go bring it back to the crying one, being like, "Mommy." Yeah, and slide it up to the other box and let it just sit it there for like a minute, see if something
Nothing
happens.
happens.
All right. He will then try to open it up then because he doesn't know better because his investigation sucked.
All right, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check.
Since Richard seems to really want to get this chest open, while he's doing that, Amric's gonna try by himself with the crowbar one more time.
Go ahead.
Got to take off advantage, but the first one was a natural 20.
Richard, you get the small box open, and as you're kind of floating there, coins start to lift out of the box itself. Ends up being 61 gold pieces, 32 silver pieces, and 49 electrum.
It can float in the water.
The coins? Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, they're super light.
Yeah, he'll just sort of like gather them back into the box and close it.
You guys have a small current that's kind of working down here, so. Yeah, Emmerich. You slide the crowbar in, you stop it from crying, and you start to lift, and then almost impaling Richaw as the crowbar goes flying past him. And the lid shuts closed once more and continues crying.
Oh, fuck.
I thought that was a really good try. Maybe it just really wants to be left alone.
Richaw is going to take like 5 of the electrum and try and slide it into the crying thing's mouth before it, and like get it in there before it slams closed again.
Easy enough to do. No change. Not a vending machine.
Was that a pun?
Is it a large enough gap that he can like take a glimpse inside before it slams closed again?
Like an inch. Like I said, you're barely able to get the edge of the pole in there, barely able to get the crowbar in there. if you were there when Amric was like opening it, then I'd say you'd have a better shot at it, but no, it's too small right now. And you're also 3 decks below inside this ship, so there's hardly any light coming in.
Yeah, he's just like, we tried.
Well, I suppose, would you like to head back up to Kazariak?
Constantly feel the breeze, and then he'll go and try and like drag 2 more of the bodies up.
Easy enough to do. Okay, so you guys get back up out into the surface. The bodies get looked at over the side of the ship, not dragged onto the ship. They go, good to know. Let them be. The sea has taken them already.
Points at Rashi and goes, I see dead people.
She's sitting there, just aimed this giant gun at you. But they throw the nets over the side and allow you guys to get back on board.
The captain-looking one, I will try and sneak and smuggle on board.
He's much bigger than you are. So it's going to be very difficult to try and sneak a 6'4" Triton bloated dead body.
Basically, he wants to try and give Rashi the opportunity to cast Speak with Dead.
Gotcha. Rashi's not down for it. She doesn't have it prepared.
Otherwise, then Richard would give the report, hand over the box that they found, and explain to the best of his ability, with help of Amric, I assume, that there was a crying box down there.
Yeah, Amric would relay everything that he saw in the room with Richard.
Chest of Sorrows. You definitely don't want to be bringing that on board. It's understandable.
What is that?
It's a beguiled chest, taken host by a woman who lost her love on the sea. She now goes from ship to ship, sinking them from the inside. With the non-stop wailing and the tears that run forth. Once that chest is on a deck and released, nothing's going to stop it from sinking.
Let's go. I would like to get far away from this accursed object.
Don't worry, after it's already been seen, after sinking a ship, it disappears. Putting itself back into some loot pile down at the bottom of the sea, waiting for some treasure hunter to come across it and put it in its hold.
That is a fucked up item.
It's only the start of it out here, dear. Alright, let's go. And you guys are off once again. Sending another 2 days of decent weather. Who wants to make the next roll? You guys are currently passing the border between Ixia and Cydia.
I'm gonna do it so that Nori doesn't accidentally call her dad on us.
That's my fault. I keep going like, I can do it. I just don't think anyone wants me to.
It's a D10?
Correct. Alright. So, as you guys are sailing on for the next few days, everyone on the ship is a little bit more wary, not weary, of anything that gets spotted along the horizon. Now that you guys are getting closer and closer to Elven Armada territory, ships seen at great distances, already evasive maneuvers get taken, and until they can be spotted of color or size, it's a very tenuous situation. But about your third day into travel, you guys are sailing along, no one to be seen around, the occasional sea life creature, dolphins and seals kind of just chilling and caressing the sides of the boats, and just the overall on the water traveling fun that gets to be had. But at the end of the third day, just before sunset, there's what looks to be this craggly rock that is slightly jutting out of the water. Only about 3 or 4 feet or so. It comes out to a small point. And out of this small point, a little bit of smoke is coming.
That's a baby volcano?
Possibly. Island's gotta be formed somehow. Pretty quick, though. Don't remember seeing it on my way down. Or my way up to Ixian.
Are there any earthquakes recently?
I kind of like looks over at everybody and is like, fucked up and almost died.
Yeah? Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's been volcanoes around this area. I've been in Ixia for the last few months.
Are we relatively close to that island or no?
To that island? To what, the island of Arad?
Yeah, the most southern cliff. Yeah.
Oh no, you guys just passed the border of Ixian Citia. If anything, you're getting the closest island is the Ladash Island.
Sometime over the course of the last 3 days, would Amric have had time to reattune to his cloak and give the manta ray?
Back in the bag.
Oh, I'm fine with passing it if you guys are.
Yep.
And away we go. Passing by the fledgling island. And erase all those items. Alright. Who would like to roll next? This roll is a plain roll.
Well,
Was that 3 or 4 days for that one?
4 days altogether.
Okay.
Nori definitely can't do it. But I guess Amric will do it again. Unless Bryn wants to.
Caperna's the navigator. Have Caperna do it, Amric.
Yeah, I'm just blaming on comparing.
Alright, yeah, Caperna will do it. Is it just another D10?
This is... One second, I put it somewhere here. It's going to be 2 separate rolls. First one's a D4.
1,
Okay. And then another D4.
3.
Okay. Okay. So, Crow's Nests, you have a D12 to your rolls. So whenever I ask for a crow roll, That's you, Richa. You're rolling a d12. Gunner's mate is a d10. So we'll have Rashi have a d10 off to the side here. Master mate, yours is a d12. Let's see. Kaporin's is a d6. Ballast mate, you're a d20.
Does Kaporin add intelligence?
No additions going
Nope.
on with this. Depending on what you're added into the roll makes it a smaller or larger D. So since he's got an actual intelligence modifier, it brought it down from a D8 to a D6.
We're doing this now? Sorry.
I'm just letting you know, because we are about to switch planes.
Gotcha. Does the bosun's mate have one as well? Since I'm
Oh, yeah,
just
sorry.
Run them all down.
Bosun's mate is... What's your dex?
10 flat.
For Brent?
Oh no, I was asking for that's Amric's position.
Oh, okay. But, okay.
I'm the mast.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, bosun's mate. No additives, no difference. You get a D12. Okay. As you guys are traveling, the start of the 13th day, Kazariak says that you guys are going to be plane shifting to get past the Elven Armada. And though you technically could just take a very wide berth to hide through things, that's probably going to add a good 2 weeks worth of sailing to do so. So they're going to plane ride through the location. As everything gets set up and going, go ahead and navigation roll. Okay. You guys see an interesting bit of situations. Amric, you're kind of kicked off from the wheel for the moment, as Gregorios and Kazariak now are working in an interesting sort of dance of the wheel and the different levers, pushing, pulling, lifting the wheel, pushing it back down, spinning. It's an interesting conglomeration of different things. Kapoor and working with the other navigator are charting and trying to put things into a perspective. And the navigator looks over at Kapoor, and Kapoor kind of shrugs and points. And as he does so, the navigator yells up to Kazariak. A word I don't think any of you understand. However, Cha, you do. It's Thieves' Cant. And it's called, and he says upward. So, with that, the last bit of movement, Kazariak and Gorgorios hold the wheel back, lift it slightly at an angle, and then push it back in. And as it does so, you see just a shift in the sky as it goes from the light blue with fluffy white clouds dotting to almost like someone turned out the light. And it is now just darkness all around. You guys feel as if you're free floating on the boat for a moment, as if the boat has no friction beneath it. And then Gregorios and Kazariak, you hear the shift of the wheel once more, and it impact once more, and all of a sudden, a unholy amount of color just shatters you guys from all different directions. What you guys see now around you, as the ship is starting to move forward, impacting and cutting into these large crystal-like creations, almost like diamonds in all directions, all around you, as if you guys are in the center of a geode. The few lights of lanterns that bespeckle the top of the ship itself, just casting a myriad of rainbow colors as it prismatically tracks and hits other. going from lightness to darkness to all of a sudden this god abhorrent rainbow color is jarring to say the least. I need a ballast roll, I need a mast roll, and I need a crow roll. Okay. Nori, you're underneath, so it was warm lighting down here during the day, and then all of a sudden it went dark, and now it's still dark. But now it's dark, and you guys are hitting shit. So the other ballast mates that down here with you immediately sparks up the 3 lanterns of everlasting flame down here, and he gets. There's a small metal knob on the back. So as you come down the stairs, take a right on the wall, there's a metal knob. And he's looking at it. And he says, and he just turns around and yells, "Dump it all." And you immediately go and hit the 5 levers, getting rid of all the water that's submerging the bottom portion of the ship. Grim. Luckily, you guys' masts were already up, so there's not that problem happening right now. But as you guys are now floating through this geode-like creation, the other mast's mate is yelling at you to turn and collapse all the masts. So you and him start grabbing the different lines that are connected and slamming them off to the side, trying to turn the mast from perpendicular to parallel, and then pulling the lines down to collapse the masts down so they're not getting impacted. The middle mast, which Racha, you are on, does take some damage, but it's still holding. Racha, as you are looking out and now trying to duck for your life, as the mast underneath you starts to rotate, and you're like, huh? And you start like trying to keep an eye on and see where you're going. You look ahead of you, and you can see these, and when I'm talking like giant crystals, I'm talking like 60 to 100 feet crystals kind of jutting out from the side walls that you guys are traveling through. You see a small opening that looks to be wide enough for the ship without taking any damage. Looks like slightly down from the angle you guys are currently going and to the left. You yell this out in decent time to Kazariak, and Kazariak spins the wheel, and Gregorios is going to let go, allowing you, Amric, to jump on with him. Gregorios is going to come and help out with the masts. Okay. First round's okay. No hard failures, just one soft failure.
So, do we want larger numbers? Because, like, if we have a reroll, what's a bad roll?
The larger number, the more success. It's just different DCs for different thing that you're doing. Okay, so another set of rolls. As you guys have now found an alcove to possibly be traversing down without taking too much damage, I need a ballast. Okay, so a ballast, a navigation, and a boatswain's.
Warren keeps getting those 2s on the D6.
I mean, you could re-roll it if you feel like you need to, since we have the one re-roll.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know how long we're going to be doing this for, though. So I'm kind of. Yeah, I guess Warren will do the reroll. Got a 6.
Alright. So, Nori, as you're down there in the ballast tanks and now completely emptied out, the other ballast mate is looking at the metallic facet on the wall as it changes to a different color. and he turns around and goes, 1/8 fill. And you start to run to different levers, and it's an interesting, to make 1/8 fill, it's an interesting combination of levers that you have to hit. And unfortunately, you fill up to 1/4. So that's going to be some structural damage, as it's too much weight. As you guys start to...
If I use destroy water help at all?
Yeah, it would. How much can it destroy?
Like 5 cubic feet or something like that.
My
if I
computer's being
remember.
slow. Here we go. You can destroy up to 10 gallons, but for every second level and higher, you can do 10 additional gallons. How many gallons would I have to get rid of? Because I'm willing to burn a 5th level.
Yeah, you're going to need to get rid of 50 gallons.
All right, so that's 10 plus, so a 4th level.
Yeah.
So I burn a 4th level spell to do that.
Okay. Alright, so that turns into a success. So as you filled it up just a little bit too much, you guys take that first initial impact and you're like, oh shit, it's too much, and you just cast and destroy as much water as you think to level yourselves out. Okay, so you're now free floating.
That was a smart stock.
Okay. With that, we have Warrens. Him and the other navigator are pouring through all their stuff that they have on the Earth plane and trying to find a cut through to where you guys won't have to be constantly fending off for your lives. Luckily, he rolled a 6, so you guys were able to pull the map up, plot your specific location, and he's got a pathway for you. Unfortunately, Amric wasn't able to immediately jump on the information as it gets relayed up. So you guys don't take the exact route initially, so that increases the amount of these checks we gotta do by 1. But you're not too far off. It could have been much worse. Under a 5 and it would have been an extra 3 checks. Alright, so this next one, as you guys are traveling forward, I need another crow check, I need another bosun's check, and I need a mass check.
Can I re-roll my 2? I don't like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emmerich rerolled his 2 as well, got an 8.
And you doubled it.
It's slightly better.
Which I was gonna do his as well.
Alright. Okay. So, with Rashaw's over success, it makes up for Bryn's failure. So, as you guys are now moving through this open space between all these crystals as they jet out from different sides, Rachad keeping a keen eye out. Though the navigators are navigating right now, Rachad, you're trying just to look out for any hazards and any openings that might be able to get taken. The mass crew, actually, since Gregorius is helping, he gets to add a d6 to whatever you rolled. He rolled a 6. So, that's actually going to lower the roll by 1. Well, the checks by 1. So, with that, Gregorio, as you guys are... You get told to lower to quartermast. And as you start to move the masts out, you realize that you're going the wrong way. You're overcorrecting the mast. And Gregorios, not to be mean, kicks you back and says, "Go the other way!" And it starts running behind you as you guys start to pull the central mast through. And as that rotates you, Rachad, you see as one of the largest crystals is coming down directly in front of you guys. And you lean over the side and yell down to the two people steering. What would you like to say? There's an opening to the left.
Port side opening.
Okay. So with that, Kazariak, kind of looking past the masts and all the people, sees what's coming up ahead and veers the ship to kind of tilt and let the large crystal pass on. Okay. That brings us down to the last check. I need a bosun's check, a ballast check, a mast check, and a navigation check. All right. So, as Gazariak stands next to you, Amric, he says, "Next opening to the right. We need to make a hard turn." And he tells you which lever to pull and how to pull it, and what he's going to do in response to it. And as you get into this next opening to re-situate yourselves going back to that portal that the navigators had found initially, you guys pull off a hell of a sharp turn. Moving through, Gregorios now says that you guys are going to need full mast. And full mast is a bit different than just unfurling the mast further when it comes to this ship. The bottom portion of the mast is metal. And when you learned all this as you were doing it. After it goes to half mast, once it gets full mast, the whole bottom portion is metal, and it needs to be faceted to either side of the ties of the ship, and in just the right way to not destroy portions of the ship. Unfortunately, as you go to do that, you realize that you and Gregorios is taking care of one mast all by himself, and you and the other mast mates ran to the same location. And as you do that, you both kind of like look over at the empty rope and metal attachment that's just floating there now. And as one of you guys are about to go to it, it just catches on a crystal that's going by and just rips it off. Just the line in the hook, not the mast itself. But now the front mast is only held down by one hook. So that may play a part later on. Down in the ballast, the gentleman is reading the diadem once more, and he yells that you're going to need to dump and then fill on his command. So that means that you're going to have to hit all 5 levers, dump the water, and get ready to fill the entire ballast right afterwards when he says so. Which, you hit all the levers, dump correctly, and you're holding the 2 levers that'll do an autofill for the whole thing. Kaporin and the Navigator are quickly trying to figure out which height this portal is going to be at. And unfortunately, they don't get it just right. So as you guys push through, go ahead. Who wants to roll the next plane for me? Because you guys don't get spit out on the prime material plane. You get spit out on a different plane because it was an incorrect portal gauge.
I'll do it. Everybody else got to roll this round.
Alright, go ahead and roll me a d6.
Am I seeing my future home?
Okay, actually it's a d8, my apologies. as you guys are traveling by these beautiful yet deadly crystals on either side of the boat, you see this shimmer of color in just the open space before you, as Gregorios has now come up to the wheel and relieved you of your spot, Emmerich, as they move in tandem. The other navigator next to Corin yells for Thieves' Cant left, and they pull the ship wheel out, slam it to the left, and push it in at the last second, pushing the two levers in sync. And you guys go through, and all of a sudden, darkness once again. There's that moment of just waiting. And then slightly less darkness. Free floating. Nori, you get told by the ballast mates to fill. And so you dump your levers and you're filling the ballast. Everyone else kind of just sitting there. Go ahead and give me a nav roll. Kaporin looks up at the other navigator's mate, and they both look at each other with an oh shit face as they realize where you guys have now put yourselves. You are in the abyssal plane. As one of the crew members is about to go, Captain, where? Because Ariak just shh. And he's just looking around. And as you guys start to float on water, there's no breeze. And it's almost as if there's no stars. There's no real light coming. It's just the darkness is just a little bit less than what you experienced just a moment ago. It's almost as if black fabric is the wind as you guys move slowly across the water forward, and the area around you starts to lighten ever so slightly. You can see water stretch out in front of you for what seems to be forever. But the water has such an interesting texture to it that it almost looks like you're on a sea of black fabric. But that's not the most worrisome thing that you see. As... Give me a crow check. Richa, you notice, not as far away as you would hope, a creature comes out of the black fabric sea. And at first you think it's a boat. How large it is, sort of careening out of the water. But then you see shoulders come up underneath it, and you realize that's a head, that's shoulders, those are arms. And this gargantuan, walking, black cloth draped individual just comes walking out of the sea. Not towards you guys, almost in parallel to you. Walking. Seemingly getting taller and taller as it creeps further and further out of this ocean of cloth. And as it stands there, completely... I mean, you can't see its knees, so you have no idea how tall it really is. But now standing about 120, 150 feet out of the water, it kind of just looks around in a direction and then scans towards your little boat. Because Ariak and Gregorios smart enough to snuff the lanterns. But as you all are standing there, you notice something different about each one of your compatriots. Everyone who's standing here has this slight underglow. Almost as if you're being illuminated from underneath or inside. Those with souls on the abyssal plane. Can't hide them. And this creature, as it turns its head over in your guys' direction. Even at this distance, which is hundreds of feet away, you can hear it. And then turn and face you all as you see just a mash of metal and bone of a face, almost as if it's wearing some sort of crude, just death mask. After it sniffs the air and looks at you, it starts to pick up pace. A gunner's mate roll.
Like to point out that we all already used our reroll.
Except Rosh.
I haven't. I haven't either.
2 people, besides the crow and the ballast, can man a gun. You will have disadvantage on it.
If it's needed, Bryn will go do it. It's fine.
Okay.
Did Kazariak ever come back to the helm?
Yeah, Kazariak was it was Gregorios that left you.
Oh, Gregorios. I'm sorry. Did he ever come back?
He's helping with the mast. Oh yeah, he helped with the plane shift.
If it looks like he's gonna stay, then Amric will go shoot. But if not, then he's going. Then he's gonna stay
No,
by
he's
the,
definitely staying. He's trying to figure out how the fuck to get away from this.
Okay. He's probably gonna be better than I am, so I'm gonna go man again.
Okay. So,
Oh, but we're probably gonna need the mast, right? Probably Bryn shouldn't leave. She already fucked up that one. They already fucked up the one.
well, there still is another mast mate.
Now she'd want to stay so she can help get this the crap hell out of here. So.
Okay.
But yeah, Amric will go fire, but he's definitely keeping note of Kazariak and Gregorios in case he's needed back at.
Okay. All right, so it'd be a D8 with disadvantage for you. Rashi rolled an 8.
Got a 6 and a 1.
Okay.
Can't give him my reroll.
Nope. You don't even know what's going on. It's just dark down there. Okay. So you run up to the gun and you kind of just like look over and see what other people are doing as they hurriedly run up to the side guns as well. Rashi, with her backwards cap, flicks out the cigar from her mouth. She goes, "Light it up!" And just as the humming noise seems to get launched from this device, and in an arcing fashion goes before getting about 50 feet or so away from this individual as it's running towards you all, and then just exploding in white flame. This, luckily she basically rolled a nat 20 in this version, makes it stagger, so it slows it down. You break your gun. So now you're down to 4 guns on that side. Hey, second guy rolled an 8. Third guy rolled a 3. It's not broken yet, though. Fourth guy rolled a 2. That one's broken. 2 guns are broken.
At least I'm not the only one.
But it was 2 staggers, so that really slows them down. Okay, so with this, I need a ballast check, crows check, mass check, and a nav check.
Amric is gonna go back to the bowsman. Or, the helm.
Okay.
I has
Jesus.
create and destroy water prepped.
Corn got a 1.
Alright. Kiborn takes a moment to shit himself, being utterly useless to the other guy who shits himself too. So, that's no help right now. Rickshaw, unfortunately, this whole area is just too dark, too dense, too slightly terrifying to deal with. You don't. I mean, it's an open ocean, so when if you get asked to which direction, you just go anywhere but there, as you point to the giant guy who's running at you. Nori, luckily, you just get told to dump the water, so you get to 1/10 of water. You didn't push the last lever all the way in, but
And how many gallons would I need to destroy the rest of it?
that's 10 gallons.
Okay, then a first level.
All right, so you're able to fix your mistake there. Bryn,
What did I break this time?
you guys get told to go to no mast. So with that, you both you and the dude run to the same fucking rope once more. And you just grab him by the scruff of the shirt and just throw him at the mast behind you. As you're just like, I'm fucking done with this. And then you go
We
to
need to number this shit and be like, all right, we're going different ones every time.
and then you go to lift the hook and it gets stuck. And you're just like, fuck. And so you just arm strangle that, and you break off a portion of the side of the ship to do it, but at least it's free, and you guys are able to curl up the masts. Alright. So, I need to do a propulsion check. I need gunner's check, and I need mast is done, ballast is done. Give me another crow's check and a bosun's check. As you know, are no longer on a gun.
I'm giving a Bozeman check.
Yeah. Kazariak's getting off to try and fix one of the guns. Ooh, Rashi with those 8s, baby. 6s in there. Hey, 8, 6, and a 7. Not too bad.
Emrick's doing pretty good over on that Bozeman checks.
It's almost as if you have someone there helping you. Anytime you go to make a mistake, you just feel resistance in the wheel. As Gregorios or Kazariak just looks over at you and...
Emrick will take the win.
Alright. Where's my crow's check? Crow's check. Okay, so you are able to find a what looks to be a fast-flowing current in your guys' direction. So it's going along with you. You yell it out. It's hard port. So almost... So the creature is coming at you from... Easiest way to do it would be northeast of your boat, and you're telling them to go hard west, and the current will help speed you guys along. Propulsion check. That's a 10 out of 10, so they switch their engines around pretty quickly, getting you guys to full speed. I've got to roll another nav check for the other... Luckily, he rolls a 6. So he's able to find you guys some sort of portal in that general direction. And just kind of starts slapping Kaporin to get him, like, back into this, like... shit on your own time. And with propulsion on your side, and with the other nav guy able to figure out a portal location, you and Gregorios find the current pretty easily, and it immediately doubles your guys' speed as you're moving away. As far as the shots go, Rashi staggers the creature once more, and the other two do solid damage. I need to see if he fixes... He does not fix the first gun. Nope, both guns are wrecked. They need a solid few hours to fix. Okay. So, now that you guys are in the current, facing away, no more gunner shots. Yeah, you guys will outrun him now. So, you guys scoot away on this current, traveling as fast as this little ship can go, and continue on. After a few moments, when everything seems safe and there's no large creatures looming the abyssal seas around you, Kazariak and Gregorios talk with the nav, and it basically tell you guys that though this place sucks to all shit, it is a place where they can make a lot of free movement. So I need a crow check, and actually, Rachel, that's going to be for you. You can either crow check, or you can attempt to fix the mast.
I guess what would the crow check give me?
The crow check would basically keep an eye out for anything sinister.
I'd be more concerned of that than getting it repaired. But once we're out of this, we can repair it.
Okay. So for as the time being, the mast cannot go past half mast. Alright, so go ahead and give me a crow check then. Keeping a stern eye out in all directions. A precarious mast. A little precarious. As it rocks a little bit more than you're used to. Keeping an eye out, you don't seem to see anything encroaching you all as you guys take the next 3 days traveling the abyssal waters. Kazariak will be able to try and fix 2 more. He fixes the first one. Second one stays broken. So, during all this time, the engine suffered minor damage. The hull suffered minor damage. The mast suffered major damage. But everything else is still functioning. Who wants to make the next roll?
I'll do it.
D8.
Is it Nori's turn?
Do you want me to roll? I can. I guess the answer was no.
Yeah, I got an 8.
So then just checking before. So this group of travel was only 3 days, not 4. Is everything else okay? Because everything else he said was okay. All right.
There is no sunrise and sunset in the Abyss. So, it's more of, it feels like 3 days. But, nevertheless, you guys get to a location where the nav team can figure out a portal, and they have a almost 100% certainty that it will take you guys back to your prime plane. So with that, and as much repairs as can be done, the engine does get repaired. You guys prep, get ready. Kazariak and Gregorios pushing through once more. And as they lift and slide and slip the wheel into position, it goes dark once again. Darkness seems to last a little bit longer than you remember. Though it's been a few... Oh, shit. As all of a sudden, bright blue sky and fluffy white clouds scream out of the darkness at you before everyone has to constantly blink their eyes, even those with dark vision have to readjust to this sunlight that you haven't seen in 3 days.
It's the elemental planet air, oh god.
And you guys are upside down, no!
No. Well, Nari would be fine. I just fly away.
And Racha would flip you off the entire way down.
I try to catch him.
Technically, if you're falling indefinitely, are you technically also flying? He'd probably be cool with it.
I can die this way when then you realize you're going to be starving by starvation. So, it seems that you guys are back on the prime, your guys' original plane. Water beneath you. The ballasts get told to be half full. And the nav team starts immediately working on where you guys might be. Gregorios starts casting a spell. And Kazariak starts to meditate. He's talking to Trentimir.
He's a better relationship with him.
After a few moments, Kazariak is the first one to come back up, and he says, "So, we're back. It's been a few days. But I believe Gregorios is about to tell us." And he kind of just waits for Gregorios to finish, who's like having an internal conversation in his head. Kaporin's gonna burn Ascending. Oh, speak of the Sending.
Hey, look at that. He sent for himself.
He's doing a Sending spell right now. Look at
Hi,
He came
guys.
on ready for it.
that. So, like I said, Kaporin would burn a Sending spell right about now to figure out what day, and most likely immediately talk to Ame. Being like, "Hi, how many days till the wedding?"
Well, did just that. And would you like a message for that, or
Short and sweet's always nice.
Hello,
and then
Ame.
you just la 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 in the background.
hello, Ame? We're just checking in. How many more days until the wedding? Hope your business doing well.
Ooh, sorry. A few moments in the response. Oh, hello, Kaporin. Man, sneezing. Glad of you to check in. I was getting worried. Wedding's tomorrow. Hope you guys are close.
Warren just looks dead. He's like, oh.
To be fair, we might be close. We don't actually know where we are.
Just on the other side of the world, casually. Just like, well, sorry, Rashi.
Gregorios gets out of his Sending. Kazariak says that you guys are off the coast of Sydney, from what he can gather. And Gregorios tells you all that you guys are off the coast of the Jewel Rose clan lands. You guys overshot a little bit to where you initially were going to stay, but it's still pretty early in the day. So, using the majority of your travel day, you guys will basically get right about here. And it's interesting as you guys start to travel back. A few miles offshore, something familiar comes across to you all. The interesting visage of a half-broken ship impaled by a rock jutting out of the water.
Wait, it's there?
You guys are there.
No, as soon as you said we overshot it, I was like, oh god.
So you guys know that the path that you're taking to make the decent time, because it is a half-day travel from Qatar's place back to Kember, you guys know you'll be basically pulling up to the beach of Qatar.
Amric is down for underwater investigations. Let's do this.
Racha's cool with going back up to what's her name in the port a little bit northwest.
You guys wouldn't be if you guys would go to that port. It'd be 4 days worth of travel to get back to the to Kember.
Fuck.
Theoretically, how far could I get us with a bunch of spells?
A bunch of spells.
Yeah, if I burned a 5th level spell, giant eagles, everyone gets in a giant eagle, I wild shape, can I get to the land and then I said, I just want to avoid going there and let everyone else chill, so we go do our shit and then come back. Or I would like to avoid seeing this man ever again.
We don't want to pay a visit to our good old friend.
No!
From where you guys are currently at, when you see the ship and you realize where you're at, if you burn a 5th level, what's the duration then?
It's only an hour, but giant eagles have a speed of 80.
Okay, so burning that would get you to the coast.
And then we can do horses from there.
But like I said, that's a straight shot to Qatar. From there to the nearest coast. If you want to kind of veer off, you're going to be pushing it. Qatar has a very specific setup on his coast where he can see a very large way in multiple directions from his cliff-top house.
So what can I do?
Well, I mean, if you want to burn a 5th and another one, like, because if you want to be without even an eye shot of Qatar's place, then burning the 5th and if you want to do a combination of the horses and water walk.
Yes.
Is it possible to shore up and with the boat out of eye shot from him and then just horse ride our way in a day, or no?
The problem is that the time it's going to take for the ship to get to the coast, it would take you to the end of the traveling day. So you guys would be looking at sunset by the time you'd be pulling in.
I will gladly do 5th level spell, 2 3rd level spells, and a wild shape.
Okay, well, Rashi's got the water walk.
Oh, yeah, then just 1 3rd level.
Okay. So if that's the case may be, then telling that to Kazariak and Gregorios, they'd be like, yeah, it's not. We're going to get away from this area. They're going to tell you they're going to head north. Send a spell out, sending spell, and they'll try and come back to wherever you may need pickup.
The dock.
They'll try and find it. But for now, tell the newlywed couple congratulations, because they're going to need all hands on deck to work the boat and possibly do repairs. Okay, so with that, burning the 5th level spell and burning the others between Rashi and you guys head slightly north of Qatar's place, and then horses, water walking, and about halfway on water, half on land, and then using the next 2 hours to travel on land to Kember. So that'd be
using whatever spells need be to go faster.
Yep. It'd be 2 more 3rd level spells from Yunori, and that would be enough to get you guys in to Kember before sunset.
Good lord.
Oh, you missed all the fun stuff.
I was watching. I know exactly
Okay.
what's been going on.
I imagine us getting to Kimber and Nora just going, ah!
She just has that, like, the nervous shiver.
Just like the whole nervous, just at least scream, just like, ah!
I immediately didn't get a stress headache. I got a relief headache.
It's a weird feeling.
Tension just releases and
The headache comes
oxytocin.
flooding back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was holding it back with sheer force of will.
there was pain in so much other parts of your life at that moment that you couldn't focus on the pain in your head. All right, so you guys do get into Kemper before sunset, with Rashi kind of leading the way, doing the translating, as well as saying that, all of you guys are part of the wedding party. She does have to pay 15 gold to get everyone in without too much hassle. And you guys, when you guys were last here, you saw how busy it was, especially with the refugee camps now flooding into Kemper. Add a Duragar wedding on top of that.
Like a summer festival.
It's like all the summer festivals that are happening now, because they didn't happen for an entire year. Everyone bought tickets, so it's even worse. But the streets are packed, and everyone is going everywhere. Rashi says, you guys just find a place to stay for a bit. And she goes and talks to Valar and her mother. Unfortunately, there's so much family staying with them that even Rashi can't stay with them. But her mother planned ahead and got you guys fluffy Pegasus rooms.
Is this the rainbow version, or is it just the plain version?
Of course, the plain version. It was only rainbow to you guys because you all were tripping.
They could have upgraded. They could have renovated,
The upgrade was
Stuff
the
would
going
change.
complete white. Alright, anyway. So, you guys were given 3 rooms between all of you, so people will have to bunk up. But, nevertheless, your rooms are taken care of for at least 2 days. This is called Dwarven City, but it doesn't really feel very dwarven. Alright, but you all get your long rest. Spells can be re-switched and flipped around if you'd like to again.
And the time of that sunset, is there still shopping?
Oh, there's plenty of shopping, even past the sunset.
For Cha's getting the wedding dress.
You're getting another wedding
what?
dress?
Well, I mean, because he knows that Tat's dress wasn't really gonna fit her, but he's gonna go for it and get a different one for Ame.
Okay, easy enough to do. Same place?
Wait. Nori looks at
Yeah.
Rashi like, do we have to wear anything?
Well, I'm getting some Duragar clothes. I would suggest the same.
And we're asking
Okay.
questions you have to
You're gonna
wear.
have to help.
Are you getting the same dress from the store that you got Tats?
Cha's getting the dress from that for Ame, yes, but
5 gold or 10 Electrum for you.
and then he'll get himself a suit because
From the same store?
exactly.
Okay, for the dress, it's 5 gold or 10 Electrum. For your suit, it's 6 Electrum or 3 gold.
And then they don't accept gold here.
No, they don't accept silver and copper.
Also, then.
At some point, Amric would go up to Rashi and be like, "Is it weird if I come along? I know you said friends are welcome, but it's not like I've
friends are
ever."
welcome. She just gives you a stern face.
You're +1.
Orange is gonna go change into his leather outfit.
Oh, by the way,
Uh,
Kaporin, you don't have regular shoes anymore.
Yeah, I heard I lost my shoes on a special encounter.
Yeah, just FYI. But your yachting,
And Nori would-
your yachting shoes have been doing you great.
Amric will, I guess, he'll follow Rashi around then, because she said she's gonna go get some more clothes. So he'll go clothes shopping wherever she does.
Okay, if you want to get
Yeah.
roughly, the same style or, cost of clothes that Rashi gets, it per person, it's going to cost you in the realm of 7 gold.
And what does it look like?
A lot of metallic colors. A lot of, especially for any sort of celebration. It's a lot more of the lighter metallics, so silvers and golds. You can tell a bit more of the higher end pieces have actual like little bits of mithril woven into the fabric. Don't give me that face. People weave in gold and diamonds into clothes now, so a little bit of mithril ain't shit. No, there is no return policy. Just be glad yours doesn't cost more for being so big.
Can Kaporan look for a better pair of shoes?
Oh no, you're wearing good shoes.
Oh, these are okay.
Those are your fine shoes.
Oh, these are my. Oh, okay. Oh, wait. Okay, I guess I need to go find work boots or something.
Yeah, your regular boots. Though they're a bit scuffed and dirty from being on a boat for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, boating in the abyssal plain.
So 7 gold for anyone who's getting dresses or clothes for the wedding. That's in a nice enough style. Since you guys are technically party of both the man and woman, you have your choice of being more gold or more silver. Gold being for the man, silver being for the woman. But it's just very. And when I say it's gold and silver, it's not like, oh my god, if a light reflects off of you, you're gonna blind somebody. It's just more of like the embroidery, the just the little frill, like just the extra little pieces are that. But it's still very, very thick clothing in general, just because it's meant for Durgar bodies, and pretty much everything is spill resistant because dwarfs and drinking. It's just baked into their 7 gold. It's baked into their everything that they create. But it's not overtly fancy. It's not like you guys are trying to be the belles of the ball. It's just very more function than flair. And for an extra pair of shoes, that's going to be 2 electro. Or 1 gold. But after the heyday of shopping, Rashi's going back to the Fluffy Pegasus. Anybody else want to do anything before going to bed?
Wants to work on the doll he has started.
Rashi would suggest you all to get a very good night's sleep, as the celebration starts early.
Amric would actually, because he doesn't even have that much experience with big towns, let alone an underground town. So he's probably just gonna marvel near the edge of where the walkways end.
Well, luckily you're tall enough that you could look in any direction and not really be impeded at whatever you're looking at. As everyone's about half your height.
Stands next to him and goes, "If you get a leash, jump."
We're not getting leashes. No one is going to die. We just got out of a very, very sticky situation. Let's not ruin it by jumping off a fucking tower.
Yeah, I'm with Nori on this one.
But it's interesting mechanical make and how they bored into the earth and still use the walls to have the stables and different storehouses and such.
Yeah. After like 20 minutes of just kind of looking at stuff, we'll head to the Fluffy Pegasus.
Alright. If nothing else, you guys can get your long rests and swap your spells and what need be. Probably going to bed earlier than even you would expect after the long toll of what you guys have been dealing with. But, nevertheless, you guys wake up early the next morning to pounding on your doors. Whoever is bunking with Rashi gets physically woken up first, before she goes out and starts pounding on the doors well before sunrise.
Kaporan gets slapped in the face.
It's time to wake up. And you get a mug of ale shoved into your hands.
It is far too early for this. I'm
As-
gonna go shower.
Those that wake up and open the door, Rashi's not even there. There's just 2 mugs of ale left at your doorsteps.
Is Richard sleeping on the roof?
Try can't get on this roof.
They wouldn't let me.
The
One
dog
second, let me
barked.
grab the dog.
They installed a new dog onto the roof, so Richard couldn't get up there.
No, it's literally like embedded into the wall, so there is no roof technically, but there is a unicorn head sticking off the top of it that Richard really wanted to get onto, but they wouldn't let him.
And also the ceiling almost meets the bottom of the disc above. So besides the little place where the fluffy Pegasus has been shoehorned into, there really is no other room up there.
Checking underneath the bed, making sure there's no trap doors or anything on it.
Nope, not
Perfect.
Just like, okay, are there any false walls, trapdoors? Are we good this time?
Everything seems to be on the up and up. Fresh coats of paint on everything too.
Richard would do his best to ask whether or not the people that killed those people were ever caught.
I don't know what you were talking about, bird.
Dead bodies up there.
I don't know what you're talking about. Here, have a complimentary chocolate.
Ooh. Just distracts himself with it.
Shiny wrapper.
So, using Rashi as your divining rod, she's like, I told you all it starts pretty early. In case you're wondering, there's the reception, then the second reception, then the wedding, then the praise reception, then the drinking reception, and then whoever's left standing, it's the victory reception.
That is
Rashi,
a
do you
lot of
think your
social
mom-
interaction.
Seems right up your alley, Nori.
I'm assuming Rashi would still have a mug of ale, and
yeah.
Emmerich will kind of offer his mug in cheers and then down his.
Yeah, you definitely don't ever want to be caught without a drink in your hand.
Nori, do you have the ale from Ami?
Hmm?
Do you still have the bottles
Bottle
of
liquor.
Oh
liquor
yeah, I have 2.
Could I have those, please?
You can have 1.
Why do you think
Fine.
my mom made that? For these situations. I mean,
Yeah,
she is
Nori
a
will-
human in a dwarf town, after all.
And Nori will give him 1.
Yeah, if you're
Just
ever
we
caught
hit-
without a drink in your hand, they'll make sure to fix that really quickly.
All right, we're just gonna go slow then.
Emmerich hasn't moved, but his ale is already full of, or his mug is already full of.
Warren's just keeping it tucked away because if he knows if he gets caught without one, he's gonna need something, but he's not trying to get stupid at this wedding.
Nevertheless, Rashi takes you down. A large gathering of Durgar have already started along. And as you guys are moving through, you all go into the same area. So it's very much like Disneyland tram-esque. Everyone moving in roughly the same area. Dog trying to squirm out of hand. You guys kind of just end up flowing with the crowd and just hear the talking that's going around and the excitement and just the overall atmosphere. You guys eventually get down to the 6th disc, where the wedding is taking place.
Is anybody questioning Richard's gimp suit?
Richard, you constantly feel the breeze. But luckily you're a bird, so you're pretty much always constantly feeling the breeze. So you're probably the only person that this slides by on, because anywhere that skin would be showing, feathers show instead. And so since it's already a pretty black suit, it kind of all just flows. But for anyone else, this is a completely assless and frontless chaps.
It allows for my tail feathers.
It's almost like a sweater vest, but the part where it actually goes over the chest, it's just leather straps with a little circle diadem around the nipple.
Do birds? I don't even. Never mind.
The answer is no, it's a bird.
One can only assume about Richard, though.
Yeah, Richard's a child though, so you never know.
But luckily, the feathers and everything pretty much overcover everything else, so it kind of just blends in with himself. Except for the silver nipple rings. Those shine ever so faintly. Would you guys get
I guess I'm sitting on the bride side.
Grooms.
Yep. Groom is gold, bride is silver. So, you guys get led down into the sixth disc, and here there are large, like, semi-permanent tents that have been affixed. This seems very much like almost the entire disc here is meant for these type of events. As it looks like they can be shifted and changed it a little bit, but doesn't look like they have probably decades. But there are bars down here. There are constant people wheeling kegs through of different things, open floor seating all over the place, and a small central little sitting area built into the main column that holds all the discs up, where 4 seats are set up for honor. But the drinking starts, and a sea of silver-skinned dwarves and white flowing hair just all over the place as you guys stand out heavily amongst this crowd. But as the drinking gets further and further in, the more laughs, the more fun and don't give a shits ends up happening. By the time that the first reception is over, you guys from where you first came down to this disc probably have only moved in 100 feet. It's just this constant like side shuffle as you're all trying to stay roughly near each other. Even though you can always keep an eye on each other, you guys at least want to be there in case something goes down. Though you don't think anything will, just in case. Mainly Bryn and Nori on the either side of Kaporin, as if they were stuck to him with magnets.
Dimension doors away.
No, magic!
But nevertheless, the first reception ends. This gives a slight reprieve and allows you guys to move further in to the conglomeration of skin and haired Duragar. Some waist high, some chest high, some knee high feeling of this sea of Duragar. But Rashi still hasn't even seen her mom. She's been constantly looking out, and there's a point where she gets stopped, and you guys are all close together. She gets stopped and tapped on the shoulder, and a dwarf walks up behind her.
Nani?
Hey, are you Rashi?
She turns around. Yeah. You're different than everyone. Do I know you?
Well, I'm kind of staying with your mom and my cousin Balar. I am changing my settings so that I'm not so echoey right now.
Oh, it's okay. It's down here. So many people packed in and kind of echoes.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing you're from up north then.
Sorry, I didn't catch that. It was really loud.
Are you from up north, Ixia, probably?
Yeah. I mean, as you can tell, I'm not quite dark-skinned at all, and I don't have what. Yeah, I'm cousin. My mom's side.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. I'm not very dark-skinned either, and the blue hair
Yeah.
kind of sets things off.
Yeah, you guys are really tall. Yeah, to be honest, it wasn't really hard to find you guys at all. But we are over here, with the bride and groom.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I haven't seen my mom yet.
Yeah.
Guys,
We're over
this
here.
way. Follow us. And you guys start elbow poking in people's sides and having to just manhandle and just push out of the way as very intoxicated and ornery Duragar are just doing the whole sit there in the middle of the walkway and just talk, and you're just like, and then shoulder check.
Emmerich doesn't know our new friend very well, but if Richa wants to, Emmerich will offer to lay him right on his shoulder, since Richa is super small.
Wonderful.
I'm
I will do
surprised
so.
Paul hasn't tried to climb the tree yet.
Wait, there's a tree?
Kapor is the tree.
Kaporn's the tree.
Gotcha.
By the way, my name's Polly, and if anybody needs a drink, and I'll pull out a flask, I've got one. Just if anybody else, I've got another one. I mean, I've got plenty. Just keep going. Don't hold out your glasses unless you really want something else.
Emmerich's got a mug, and I imagine he's trying to fit in pretty well, so he's probably got like one shoved into one of his pockets somewhere, and it's probably leaked everywhere.
Yeah.
But you could visibly see at least one or two mugs shoved into pockets somewhere within his clothing.
Sorry, I mean, you knew my name, so I didn't even think to ask. My apologies, I feel so stupid. I'm Rashi, though you already knew that. That one there, that one's Amric, the one who smells like beer, but unfortunately everyone here smells like that, so he fits in. The one that's on top of him, that's Racha. He's the bird friend. That one over there, that one's Bryn. Pretty good fighter. And the one that's hiding behind her, that's her girlfriend Nori.
She's gonna step aside.
And the one that looks like he's contemplating heavily whether or not to flirt with everyone here, that one's Kaporin.
Oh, okay. Wow. You can stop hiding because everyone can still see you. Because you're kind of taller than everyone.
It's so loud here, Kaporin. Even you playing here. A nat 20, you can't.
It's not even. He's not even playing. He's just putting on the best show because his name was said, and he's like, "Oh, I got to make myself look good."
Feather dancing, got it.
Like a couple from Richard.
So yeah, we're over here.
Yeah,
and
eventually,
if you need anything, we have pretty much everything over here already. Yeah. So I'm with Ame and Balar and my uncle Hakas.
Oh, Hakas made it.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, did I not tell you that I felt him? Sorry.
Felt him?
Long story. Continue, sir.
Touching people in their sleep.
No, don't listen to him.
Everett is like holding,
wrong
puts his hand
thing.
up and kind of holds Richard's beak shut for just a few seconds.
The bird's a bit hard to understand. Just don't. I would say don't take what he says literally, but there are some times where you literally need to take him literally. So it's more of a guessing.
It's another language.
I just flip a mental coin in my head and I decide whether or not to listen to him.
So listen, but don't listen. Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
You win all of our hearts.
See, like that one was better. So with that and the pushing and whatnot, as you guys start to move around the corner, getting more into the purview of the chairs that are melded into that middle spire, you guys see Ame, Valar, and Hakas up at these top tables. And Hakas, being the more perceptive of the two brothers, looks out and sees the larger individuals of your guys' group making your way towards them, and he extends out his hammer and points it towards you guys. And the Duergar move, like parting of the ocean, in front of this hammer, as all those that are closer to the actual bride and groom themselves are family and people that know who and what they do. So they all have a good understanding of what that hammer can do if let go. And so, sure as heck, your pathway to them becomes much easier very quickly. And Rashi takes this time to bolt through the opening and get up to her mom and Balar and Hawkus, and Hawkus keeping his hammer extended to let everybody else through as well. But she embraces Balar and Ame, and Ame's just squeezing her super tight and just like whispering in her ear, and Balar is just big old smile on his face, very heavy into his own drinks, but being a very stoutly individual is probably faring better than 99% of the other Duergar out there. You all eventually get out of the main ravelry of the crowd and are able to take a more edge approach and are able to actually extend your legs fully. It's a wonderful feeling. If you haven't been doing it for 3 hours, you can all of a sudden take a full step. You're just like, oh, thank God. But with your group actually being there now, and especially bringing Rashi to her, Ame asked Balar to set up a table and have you guys close by. Obviously not in the limelight, but nearby, as they understand you guys don't really know too many of the other Duergar here, and you guys are here by proxy. So, the wedding, well, the receptions continue on, and then the wedding happens. The wedding being
There's so many receptions.
the wedding being an interesting design of which you now come to realize is a lot more work than any other wedding any of you may have ever seen in your lives. Usually it's, oh, go up there, say a bunch of words to one another, and then be done with it, and then have the reception. Well, no, there's a bunch of party before, and then during the wedding itself, Balar forges the rings in the middle of the wedding as the wedding is going on. He forges the rings with Mithril, and basically, as he's doing that, Ame is the one who is espousing vows not only to, because the Duergar are very patriarchal, she's espousing vows of, like, having the families unite, saying that she'll be there for him to help raise his family's name to a higher level, and basically just saying, like, I'm here in full support of everything and anything that Balar would need. And then once Balar's done forging the rings, he turns around and says, it's now his duty to make sure that not only do they keep each other in check, but also to take her and her family into his own, basically through choice, extend the family out once more. And what's interesting is that there's a little human tradition that's getting placed in here ever so slightly to appease Ame, but not like make it like, oh, the Duergar are like, whoa, that's weird. Like, Ame has a veil on, which isn't a normal thing. The clothing that she's wearing, though it is in the color of Duergar, it's in the fashion of the more human weddings. Some of the food that's served is more of a human wedding rather than just like straight meat across all the tables for the Duergar side of things. She's got some fennel, and she's got some like asparagus and a couple other greens mixed into stuff. A lot more of that is left over than the meat is. But it's just more of a celebrating of the union of the two families, and especially the fact that the human turning, for all sake and purposes, turning to Duergar, and allowing that melding. And it's actually a pretty interesting breaking point for Kember itself, because this is the first non-Duragar full wedding that has ever been done in Kember. So there are Kember dignitaries, an interesting person that you all recognize. Well, maybe not you all. Some of you recognize. The person that Barnabas had a meeting with is sitting at one of the tables
So
nearby.
literally just Bryn and Rachel.
Yeah.
And Bella.
Yeah. But he is sitting at one of the tables, looking extravagant as all get out as well. And a couple other people that look just as extravagant next to him. But the wedding being the shortest out of all the things happening today, it is now time for the third reception. The celebratory reception. And this is where the ale and the mead is gone, and we are now into the whiskeys, into the rums, into the hard stuff. Because this is the reception that makes or breaks most people. And then, if you can survive, you go to the fourth reception.
Oh, lucky us.
This is also, though, the reception that has the most of the food. So, you guys can take a moment as Rashi is kind of doing the rounds with Ame and Balar to different family members, shaking hands, hugs, kisses, the whole nine. It's funny because you just see Ame and Rashi just like walk up to some new people and then disappear into the sea of white hair and then reemerge with like lipstick marks across the side of their face.
Can I look for some dragon's blood?
Yeah, not too difficult to find if you're actually looking for it.
Nice. I will grab a bottle if I can and bring it over to our new friends.
Yeah, easy enough to
and hand it out and say, wait. Don't do that. I know what you're thinking. Wait for it. And then go get some whiskey and bring it back and pour shots of it. And I say, okay, this is how you drink it. And I'll plunk the whiskey into the dragon's blood and chug it.
Okay.
Emmerich will do exactly
Are you
that.
trying to kill us?
No, I'm trying to save you.
Emmerich had no hesitation. He did it exactly at the same time.
Okay.
On Emrich's shoulders, Rachad did it as well.
Nori
You are a mimic.
just saw alcohol be poured into more alcohol, and she's like, okay, what is that exactly? I want to know before I accidentally die.
Oh, no, it's good. That's what it is.
Hold the cup up to Nori's mouth. Just drink.
No, no, you've tried to drug me
Ask
before.
for
I don't
consent
want
first.
this.
Bryn, can I do this?
It's gonna slap you if you actually ask her that. Yeah, you're getting slapped.
I mean, what is she, your mom? Just drink it.
Bryn, Nori,
Bryn will drink
Kapori.
it.
Okay, Bryn drinks it. Kapori,
Alright.
Kapora, Nori.
I did not hear what I was saying. I was laughing too loud. I'm sorry.
Emmerich
you're
will,
drunk.
and then kind of an aside to Polly, he's gonna say, sorry, we're a little different.
Yeah, I have friends like that too. Trust me.
Rachad's unconscious on his shoulders, I'd imagine.
Nori, Kapor.
Kaporin had already took his, and it was trying to beat Belladonna style Nori. So
Gotcha. Nori.
I imagine I don't drink all of it, but I do drink some.
Okay.
Because I just went through what Arix did to me.
Yeah.
She does not trust this.
So only Nori needs to make a con saving throw.
Interesting. All right, let's pass out.
Rachad will try and pass out in a feather hat for Emmerich, so he looks at least adorable with something perched on his head.
No, the rest of you guys, those that have had dragon's blood in the past,
Oh boy, that
I'm
worries
just gonna
me.
grab Nori so she doesn't fall on her ass.
you get that taste, but then all of a sudden it's like a hickory burn in the back of the throat that kind of like over and encumbers it, and the effects that you're used to having from either seeing or experiencing this, nothing happens. You just get an interesting sort of like trifecta of flavor that kind of like almost feels like it spirals in your mouth. And as you breathe and exhale, it kind of like changes flavors until it goes away. Except for Nori. Nori, you're gone.
Ta-da!
What type of gone?
Yeah, sleeping, drooling a little bit.
I told her to just
Bryn's
drink it.
just- Bryn's just holding her.
What are you gonna do with that?
She's gonna hate me if I just put her down somewhere. So
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of chairs back there. You can probably put a tablecloth over her so nobody bugs her for now.
Do it quietly in the bathroom or something.
I'm with him.
We probably should have planned for this when Rafi told us there were so many receptions.
I mean, we are dwarves, and we do
Right.
drink.
Can I get another?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Amrick's down for another.
Yeah, we'll have another.
It's so on brand for Nori, I can't even be mad.
Born's glad not to be the first one to pass out or have anything problems with him, so he's quite happy at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go get supplies for another and bring back like a tray of food as well.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, with that, I mean, as long as you keep doing it in that same fashion, it nullifies the hard poison effect of the immediate incapacitation.
Little trick I learned from my dad. He's pretty great at drinking and making weapons, but he's really good at drinking.
But
What
yeah,
a wonderful.
so I mean, as long as you guys keep drinking it the same way, don't suffer any ill effects. I'm sure Polly would let you know, though, that once you start to transfer out into other alcohols, don't come back to this. It is more of like, you continue to do this throughout the night, or once you veer off, you stay away from it, because then it no longer works. The whiskey will counteract whatever you've been drinking, but the dragon's blood will have nothing to fight. So Nori's down for the counts. Go ahead
I was
and
gonna say, is there anywhere to put her? Because like Bryn's fine with carrying her the whole night,
Make
but
a perception
she's like,
check.
this is
Bryn
gonna
has
get
a
old
body
pretty
bag.
quick.
Bryn technically has a body bag.
I'll
Dude,
suffocate
just
the
weaken the
guy.
Bernies.
they just can't breathe in it.
She just holds
That's why it's a
Nori's head out.
body bag.
Go ahead and all of you guys give me a Constitution saving throw.
Just let her like head pop up from the top of it, so she just looks like she's in a knapsack.
Woo, I'm out.
Nat 20.
7.
Oof.
Born's natting at this wedding.
Bryn Kaporn and I going hard.
Now, if only I had a proficiency in Constitution saving throws, these would be amazing.
I absolutely need to get proficiency. This is not okay.
All right. So all those that rolled under an 18, by the time fourth reception is over with, those that rolled under a 5, you guys need to be escorted physically, as you are no longer in control of bodily functions. Those that rolled under a 10 can walk. Talking's hard. And those 15 to 10, you have enough wherewithal to know that you should probably stop. Because it's not so much the alcohol intake that's the problem, it's the I don't have much more room in my stomach problem. And once I start getting rid of possible food that's soaking up the alcohol, I am probably going to lose the rest of my shit. But that leaves Amric, Bryn, and Kaporin left.
The 3 tallest members.
It's almost, it's poetic. But you guys are allowed to stick around and go through the fourth and final celebration reception if you'd like.
Rachel will post up with Nori. We can Bernie's her a little bit, but he'll just be making sure we're cool while they go off and do their thing.
Heavy dark glasses over the eyes.
Horn, of course, would be at this final reception.
Amric will also join.
Okay. I
I don't want
need
to be rude.
you three to make strength checks.
Straight strength or athletics?
Straight strength.
Comparing. Good luck.
We all rolled less. Oh,
So
I got a 6.
in this final reception, arm wrestling competitions happen. Amric is the only one to progress further to the wrestling competition, as the other two get handily defeated. Amric, you can use athletics or acrobatics for this next step.
Oof, absolutely athletics.
Oh, I was gonna say acrobatics, just YOLO.
Run your inner Rachel.
Nope, I did not do it.
So
Ask.
as you're there, and you actually get through the first round of the wrestling portion, but as you're kind of standing there, pretty confident in yourself, the liquor giving extra sense of courage, as well as the fact that everyone's half your size, you feel a tap of metal on your shoulder as you turn around, and Hawkus stands there. And he goes, "All right, you're ready to go?"
If it's you I'm wrestling, I'm ready to lose. Let's do this. Don't know why I'm turning
Slightly Scottish on you.
I always, whenever you break out the Scottish accents, I always follow you right in.
It's all right. I have the same problem with other accents and people.
It's just Amric's drinking. That's all it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's the drinking.
Well, I mean,
definitely.
to be fair, all the Durg are talking around you. But without letting go of his warhammer, which he places face, like, head down on the floor, he, with legs and the one free arm that he has, as you kind of like go in to tackle him, he just trips, slips, pins, and puts his foot on your throat until you yield or pass out. He's not worried about it either. And then
Amric
as you try to like grab his foot and lift him up using all your weight, he just lifts his hammer a little bit and uses the extra hammer weight to help push you down.
Amric will definitely yield before he passes out, but
Okay.
he'll give it his all.
Yeah, that's all that's wanted in the end here. Eventually, it comes down to 3 fights. And luckily enough, the last fight isn't between Balar and Hawkus, but the second to last fight is.
Oh, and Hawkus is doing this all with only one hand because he can't let go of that hammer.
Of the hammer, yeah. So the battle is going negatively for Hawkus. And he breaks out of a hold from his brother at one point, and he kind of like does the whole like little jog away thing while holding the hammer over his shoulder. And he kind of cracks his neck a little bit, and it gives the fit in the 1 second finger to his brother, and he goes over to 3 Durgar who are standing there, and he puts the hammer in their hands. And before he lets go, he pushes his hand to the floor, and you see the stonework of this disc meld into their legs as he stone shapes them to help hold the hammer. And then now that he can let go, he cracks his back, takes the wrapping off one of his arms, and does the whole "come here, brother" as they start the second round of fighting.
Rachel gonna be focusing very much on that hammer. I thought I was in the audience. Am I not there?
Oh, you can be looking. Yeah.
Yeah, I was, because he's basically going to try and catch that thing if it gets let loose on and soars towards Nori.
Would end poorly for unconscious Nori.
So with that, now that Hawkus has an arm free, though Balar is strong, Hawkus is constantly fighting where he's at, and has the more experience in things, and eventually is able to pin and make Balar submit. by breaking 3 fingers. Luckily, he didn't break the ring finger that the new ring is on, but he broke the fingers around it. Hawkus ends up taking the hammer back, going to the last round, and winning the victory reception, given a golden hammer as his reward. Now, for the more lackadaisical people in the audience, the women and some of the elderly and kids, they watch for a while before leaving, and then only those that have direct stakes or friends that are in the last reception, or more of the rough and tumble, I've been drinking all day, so I can't really move anyway, so I'm going to sit here and watch this. Those are the only people that are left. But it's customary for, especially since Balor was almost all the way to the end, Rashi and Ame to stay as well for everything. Rashi comes up to your guys' table near the after Balor gets defeated. Hey guys, my mom wanted to say thank you for you all coming and bringing me back specifically. That was a good part. She didn't really like the story of the really dark place we went to.
I know what you're talking about, Rashi.
Well, you did shit yourself twice during that time, so it's understandable. But they're going on their honeymoon up to the Crystal Clan lands, and then they're taking a ship out for a while. And she told me to go with them. And usually I'd be like, Mom, you're just being too protective. I need to go out and do my own thing. But with some of the stuff we've seen, and this being really my first family, anything, it's really hard to say no.
I mean, Rashi, I'm glad we were able to get you back here and we were able to come. I don't think any of us question your decision. I think we all kind of understand it. You need to do what you feel is right, and honestly, I feel like that's probably more right. Spend time with your new family.
Warren goes over to Rashi. It's like, go enjoy yourself, little sis.
She kind of like looks at you like, we still need to figure that out.
Alcohol's talking. Just enjoy yourself.
No, we still need to figure that out. Trust me. That's still on the back of my mind. I still have a job to do for Mithranim, so this isn't goodbye. This is just farewell for now. Wait, hold on. And she turns to Kaporn. As long as you all don't die.
Warren looks back. It's like, what you looking at me for?
You're the one that has died in this group.
Warren then points to Brain. It's like, so is she.
And Nori.
Yeah, like literally everybody but the new people.
Yes, but he's the only one that died that we weren't directly responsible for bringing back. We weren't prepared for his death.
Touche.
And since you're the other half of the problem of possibly being related, kind of need you there to figure out what's going on.
Warren does this weird salute thing. It's like, you got it.
You stab your eye as you do so. You just poke your eyes. You're trying to go up for the salute. See what I mean? Try and keep each other safe. Preferably all in one piece as well. It's weird that I feel like I need to specify that, but I still feel like I need to specify that. All appendages
You're not wrong.
should stay on the bodies at all times.
I haven't been with all of you long, but I definitely feel like that's something that needs to be pointed out.
See, listen to Amric. He seems like he's got the most sense.
Am I there for all of this?
Oh yeah,
I never.
Okay.
yeah. They came up to the table.
You guys sound like a lot of friends of mine. Do you? Why did you hit yourself in the head? That was dumb. Do you? Do you want me to fix that? I can fix that. I can fix that. I mean, tomorrow I can fix it. Not today. Tomorrow.
Porn's looking over at Polly and is like, "Are you okay?"
I'm just just a little in, just a little in. I just finished my third flask, and dragon's blood and stuff. Stuff.
Is there any food left?
Oh yeah, there's tons of food left. Especially a
Emmerich
lot of
will go
vegetables.
Emmerich will go get another tray, and he's gonna make sure to grab some meat specifically for Polly because he looks like he needs some more food.
And Kapori, I'm saying it now.
Kapori.
Kaporin will go and pull the belladonna stunt with Polly.
You're trying to force feed Polly food.
Bryn's gonna try to stop Kaporin with that because
You're
What are you
also-
doing to
doesn't
me?
know
Dude,
us
get
yet.
off! Get off
also
of me!
intoxicated, Kaporin.
Get off of me!
That's
I
why
feed
Kaporin's
myself.
doing it all the time.
yeah, Bryn's gonna try to stop that. Help Polly out.
Rachaw's going to drunkenly saunter Kaporn around, trying to wingman him again.
Rashi's gonna see what spell she has stocked.
Can I cast spells as well? Is that just an automatic thing that I can do, or do I have to be sober to do it?
No, you can do it.
Okay. I'll just go ahead and
And then
Cast-
poor Nori's still knocked out.
yeah, I will where is it?
He's
Does it not upcast? It doesn't upcast, sorry. I was looking for
Rashi's
lesser
just
restoration.
Gonna, just do a heat metal on your mug that you have, Kaporin.
I will cast lesser restoration on Nori, on myself, and on actually I'll just cast it on everybody. I'll upcast it.
Okay. But the heat metal still goes through. So it's your choice whether or not you want to hold that metal mug.
Kaporin pulls out his other glass that he has and just like, fine then.
I mean,
She
now we
knows
can
that
drink
one, too.
all night.
She puts it on both. Kaporin grabs
She has all her spells to burn.
Kaporin tries to grab the mugged out Nori it was in front of Nori and just like, fine then.
Emmerich will give a cheers to Polly and say,
Nor you
"Well,
wake up.
that's definitely in the true spirit," and he'll keep drinking.
It's a wedding.
Okay, what happened? What did I miss?
I'm saying goodbye.
Oh,
Fucked up and almost died.
that's normal.
Yeah, I'm
Sorry.
going with my mom on her honeymoon. Well, that sounds weird. I'm gonna go with my mom in the same place that she's having her honeymoon. Just a few,
She's gonna
Buildings.
travel with her family.
I
just
think
a
I think
few
it, I
buildings
think
away.
I
It's
I
not-
got you. I got you. Good luck, Rashi, and stay
Road
safe
trip.
as well. Road trip.
Gross adult sexy time.
Racha.
Oh, don't remind me,
Yeah.
Racha. Every night I go to sleep, I'm just gonna be thinking of all your quotes.
Mentally to Racha, she's just like, you better shush.
Kaporin's like, let me know if we have another sibling at some point.
She just kind of like a shock through her spine.
Nori will put a hand on Rashi's shoulder and go, it's not that bad.
Kaporin is ready to run away if he has to.
Kaporin, I have Revivify stocked today.
The gem.
I will burn a diamond to set a point across to him.
Okay, Nori will stand up between them. We're not gonna do that today.
You know, there's a new spell I learned that I haven't been able to try.
Kaporin runs to behind my Bryn.
Bryn's not letting you hide behind her. It's not gonna happen. She's like, you put yourself in this mess, bud.
We do everything possible to hide behind Bryn.
Yeah, no, she's gonna dodge you left and right. She'll sit down if she has to.
Nori waits for a beat and then steps back and is just like, you need this. Just don't kill him because it's harder to raise people from the dead when they've died before. Oh, Polly, hi, you're still here.
Yes, I am.
Please
I was
don't
here
ever give
before
me that
you.
drink again.
You want another one? I can get it.
No,
I want
no,
another one.
dear Lord, please no. Yeah, give it
I
to
mean,
Amric.
You drank it wrong. It was your own fault. You don't.
drank
It's
it
not a
wrong?
sipper. It's a gulper. It really is.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
you were the only
noted.
one who went down with that. All of us are fine.
You know, it doesn't surprise me.
My thing's not working. Kaporin does I think a 22 hits.
Yeah, 22 hits. Why does the 22 hit?
That's a lot of dice.
There's so many dice right there. What?
5th level guiding bolt. Just poof, like as Bryn kind of like moves out of the way, just this glowing impact to your chest. Just immediately coughs up a little blood, and then you feel an interesting icy coldness kind of creep down your back as she casts Death Ward on you, just to make sure she doesn't kill you right away.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh no.
Kaporn's glowing now, isn't he?
Kaporin's running.
No, Kaporn's glowing.
Oh yeah, you're glowing.
Oh, wonderful. Kaporn is now begins dancing.
And he now becomes his own MJ.
Kaporn then summons MJ, and they start doing a choreography that he has in his mind.
As he would.
I'll lean over to Amric. Is he mentally ill?
No.
I think so. Yes.
I'm not quite sure the queen needs fucking.
Depends on the situation, honestly.
I'm gonna take that quote as my cue. I'll let him glow for a bit.
I'm so shiny.
Alright, guys. It was fun. I'll contact you all. Don't have Kaporin contact me.
I mean, you don't want him checking in with you every week.
Bryn? Every time he
I won't
contacts
let him.
me, I will contact you.
Good to know.
Bye, Rashi.
Is
I'll make sure to contact
is it
my
just
Ame and
Rashi
check on
that's
you.
with it there, or is Ame also there?
Ame's taking care of Bella right now.
I'll call Ame every week to check on you.
If he talks to my mom when
Well,
she's on her
she-
honeymoon, I don't think I'll cast Death Ward next time.
I
Rashi?
wouldn't blame you.
We will make sure he doesn't.
Hope so. Real sad if he
Me
lost
too,
that
for
loot.
his sake.
Kaporn hears the word loot, and he automatically goes into defensive mode.
Been talking with my god, and been talking with Nori's mentor, and she told me about this one god with a bunch of hats. He's got some interesting powers where you can just take things away.
When did you talk to Avita?
I did stuff during my day, remember? When I got the wedding present and everything?
Okay. Alright, I guess.
It was a fourth wall, okay? Nevertheless, Rashi, thanks you all for being with her and helping her through everything. And though she's worried for you all, she still thinks that as long as you guys stick together, good luck.
At the mention of the wedding present, though, Racha like perks up and goes running over to Ame and Balar and pulls out the thing and goes, "Happy birthday!"
Oh, thank you. Racha, right?
Just nods.
Well, thank you very much. And she like leans over and gives you a kiss on the head. You're the only person that's remembered it's my birthday as well. Mom, I told you happy birthday. Well, okay. Who isn't my daughter?
From across the room. Happy birthday!
I'm sure Baylor will remember later.
So with that, Rashi escorts Ame and Valar away. And you guys have the rest of the night on the 6th disc without being interrupted. The receptions, though the main ones have been over with, people stay and drink. I mean, there's plenty of food left over, there's plenty of drink left over, so it's a constant thing that you don't have to worry about.
Yeah, Nori goes and gets food.
But beyond that, though, on the 6th disc, there really is nothing else. This place is meant for receptions, it's meant for parties, and unfortunately, beyond that, you don't really have anything else to do here. So eventually, making your way up to the Fluffy Pegasus, and Ame would have gotten Polly a room at the Fluffy Pegasus as well for her wedding night, because things happen on the wedding nights.
Is he just walking with us?
I'm
Well, he's
walking with you now, since I can't go back to where I started. Oh, you guys are staying there too? Oh, that's convenient. We can walk and drink at the same time.
Yeah, Amric. Amric now probably because he doesn't really care that much about keeping his wedding clothes clean. So any poppy he has probably has a mug in it at this point. And if Polly ever runs out, he's giving him his extra mugs. Since we're walking in there, I'm not sure how much ale is available on the elevators and stuff.
Don't worry, man. I filled up my flasks on like while we were free booze. And don't worry, I've got a cask in my room.
Wow.
Keep it with me at all
impressive.
times.
Probably goes to party.
And Amric, how do you have that many pockets?
Ask the tailor, and he pulls out another mug and just downs it.
I mean, it helps that he's so tall. No.
It was
But-
for a Duragar wedding.
Are these meant to be cup holders?
Cup or flask, yeah.
Kaporn does now have to make a note for that to make sure he has a flask in every pocket.
I will
I'll
say,
have no pockets whatsoever, unfortunately.
Assless
I will
chap
say
with
that Duragar weddings are, yeah, they're better than high elf weddings.
Why would you go to a high elf wedding?
Mom's
Long
side.
story. Long
They
story.
sound so boring.
They really are.
Actually, Amric, you would know that. Well, here, I'm gonna message. You guys continue with your story, your conversation.
Goliath weddings aren't too bad. A little bit smaller scale, but they're pretty good.
Yeah? Is there drinking involved?
There is, but there's a lot less of us involved, so there's not much. We're going some changes, so it might improve, but definitely not as much as here.
Oh. Are you like
We were kind
one
of
of those-
yeah, tribal, so
okay.
less resources.
I have a friend like that too. Well, I had a friend like that too. Yeah. Sorry about that. Wars and all, I guess.
I'm sorry, my sentiments are not the same.
Does that mean he doesn't care?
I'm not sure.
Kaporn just shrugs. It's like, it could mean a lot of things. But a Kanku wedding probably is pretty lit.
Kanku wedding? Nope.
So you guys don't
What?
have weddings.
What if weddings are definitely another breed as well.
Really?
Interesting.
Yeah, I went to one. I stayed with some wood elves over in the Snake Forest. Very different experience. Very wild.
Kaporn's like, you know the what else in the Snake Forest? We have to have a talk later.
You know the wood elves in the Snake Forest?
Your mom's name's Martha? Sorry, I had to.
Or just like, no, I don't know anyone there, but I would like to.
They don't like outsiders very much.
That's from what I've heard.
Nori, give me a history check.
Ooh, yay, my +0.
I'm kind of a special circumstance.
Belsap and Mary.
You remember something reading about wood elf marriages, but you can't remember what it was. It's so long ago.
Yeah, because I was
I-
maximum 11.
I am not gonna say it.
No worries.
Well,
Would the city wood elves have anything of note in that regard? I figured.
Polly, you definitely have to try this tea that we found at one
No,
point.
no.
Lauren,
No,
you gotta really stop trying to drug people.
I mean,
it's not okay.
I'd be up for it. I mean, I'm sure there's a workaround like there is with the dragon's blood.
I'm sure there's. You just don't close the doors and windows when you drink it. But I hear it's very good.
What are you like, flagellating all night long?
We're... Perrin, we just talked about asking for consent. I suppose... Just
I didn't. I don't have it with me.
good.
I don't believe you.
Richa, you're the one person who probably has gone through my bag and I wouldn't have noticed. So you probably know I don't have it. Or it's all like, I should probably check my stuff later, just in case Richa did go through my bag.
Kaporn, what's your passive?
My passive, 16.
Okay, so right as you say that, you turn around and then you feel a little bit of a pull at your bag.
He's not stopping. He's looking.
Yeah, by the time you turn around, there's beak completely in the bag.
This is what I'm talking about.
Does he do that a lot?
Yes.
So
Do you have
people
food
you
in there
like?
or something? I mean,
He's never gone through my bag.
Yes.
Yeah, I
he
did
has.
when I first saw you.
No, I don't know that.
Warren just looks over at Namrick's like, for what you know.
Yeah, he'll probably go through yours eventually. He's just curious. Never takes anything. Just wants to know.
I mean, I would advise him to ask for consent.
Oh, you'll fit right in.
Exactly.
It's nice to have a traveling buddy.
Are you guys leaving soon?
Yeah, we have to leave tomorrow, don't we?
2 days.
Probably be best to get back as soon as we can, yeah.
I mean, do you need anybody else? Because I'm really bored.
Well,
Really bored. My sister didn't let me do anything, and I traveled for 2.5 months, and I just can't go back there right now.
What is that thing you say, Richa?
well, I don't speak for this whole group, but you seem like a pretty great dude.
I mean, I try. I'm not the best at a lot of things, but you know.
No, none of us are.
Yeah, we've got some character flaws.
Those are fun.
Go
We
ahead
should
and give me a
probably
perception check.
double check with Zariak.
Yeah, I don't... I mean, I don't see any issue with it, but Kazariak is probably the one we have to have the most talk with.
No, Rashi is staying, so
The Warren hands Bran a piece of paper, so like, please write it out. I'm too drunk to write it, to say anything yet.
what time is it right now? I don't think we're gonna do this at like the middle of the night, Kaporn.
Yeah, no, by the time the end of the fourth reception and yeah, the victory party and everything, you guys are like 1 a.m.
Yeah, Kaporn, do you really want to wake him up?
Just have it ready for the morning. I think we might want to ask him as early as possible, though.
All right.
How about you write yourself a note to write him a note in the morning?
Sounds like a great plan there.
Lick it and stick
No,
it on your
just-
forehead.
Yeah, I put it on your bedside table.
No, I'm gonna put it on Kaporin, so when he wakes up and I see him, I go, all right, I gotta write that note.
Rashad's got you. He pulls out his calligraphy supplies and just draws on his forehead.
Performance check. Beautiful picture of a bird. For Chaw's signature.
Wow, Shaw, you're quite the artist.
Papers, please.
That was an interesting interaction. Maybe be careful when you're talking to people like that in the future.
It helps.
Did it though?
Yeah, I'd also prefer not to get shot again.
There. Well, Polly, I do have to warn you, if you do want to come with us, there is a whole weight requirement outside of your own, just like the stuff you're carrying. But we have
How much weight?
And actually,
we've got a bag of holding. It's fine.
actually about that, in regards to Bill would also get his own extra weight.
Okay.
Bill?
So, are we leaving tomorrow then? I mean, I'm up for it if you guys are. I'm good with that.
I think that's the plan.
Yeah. Leaving tomorrow.
Okay, so let me. It'll have to be in the morning, but I have to go check on my pony, Bill. And get him out of like the stable and get him all set up and stuff like that. And then I'll meet you guys back at the hotel.
Yeah.
The very white fluffy Pegasus.
That's
You know,
the
I
one,
thought-
I think.
I think I've seen colors in it now, but that could just be the drink.
It's the drink, Coparin.
Yeah, I think that's your imagination playing a trick on you.
I think you need to go to bed.
Emmerich just handed Kaporin another mug of ale.
Ooh, and the plan starts to.
How many pockets do you have until you pull out like 8?
I've got more where that comes from.
Yeah.
Cargo pants.
I'm totally pulling a merchant from Resident Evil 4 right now. He's got stacks upon stacks.
Where are
One
you
down,
hiding all those
another.
long swords?
I'm just imagining like video game logic, like it's all like stacked up in one thing. Just
Yep.
like ale, but then there's a number beneath it, just like ale. 36.
82. Dignity,
Maximum
0.
99.
Alright, so with that taken care of, everyone feeling the fatigue of everything that you've been through, as well as the very long day that you just encountered, you all go into your respective rooms, bunked or not, and get in a good night's sleep for the day ahead tomorrow. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Alrighty, guys.
That was fun.
Well, welcome, Polly.
Welcome to our awkward disaster. of a
We're
group.
all awkward disasters.
I've been watching.
Yeah, you fully know.
And waiting.
So, any questions right off the bat?
You watched
We're not
us and
playing
you still are
Thursday.
deciding to come with us? You
I,
sure?
I have nothing to do on Monday and Thursday nights.
Masochist is what I
Welcome.
reference it to. Oh, Polly, for your level 9 level up, go ahead and roll your health now. So, any other questions from everybody else?
No, but that was truly wild. We started off doing a death thing in the abyssal plane and ended at a wedding.
Mhm.
So
With a
great.
new friend.
Swapping clerics.
Ooh, what type of cleric is Polly?
Did Richa find anything interesting in Polly's equipment?
Well, I mean, Polly, what would you have taken to the wedding yourself? That's probably more the question than what did you.
I guess it has to be on our first night on the road, but that
Yeah.
makes more sense then. Yeah.
Yeah, I have flasks and flasks.
Flasks and a little bit of money and more flasks.
Yeah.
Oh, should I add a bunch of mugs to my inventory from tonight?
12 mugs.
You never know when you're gonna need one.
I have enough for everyone to drink reliably now.
Though, to be fair,
Oh.
by the end of the night, as you guys were walking home, Polly had a very interesting mug he was drinking out of.
Is it like a bottomless mug?
It's a very fashionable mug.
Did I?
The sippy cup?
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah,
It's a sippy cup.
I do.
When you
It's
start to get more
orange with
inebriated.
yellow polka dots, I think.
Purple polka dots.
That's right.
Is it spill proof?
It is.
Go pouring like Richa. I need one.
He gets a look at it and he'll be like, "I can try."
I got you, bro.
My
Okay.
nephew bought this for me a long time ago, and it helps a lot when you're drinking late at night.
All right. So with that, we'll go ahead and end there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to message me, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. If I don't talk to you all before then, have a great week. Welcome, Polly, to this group of misfits, and we'll meet back up on Thursday.
Wait, we were skipping Thursday, right?
We're skipping Thursday, so we will meet back on Monday.
Welcome. We're gonna see you in a week.
Yeah.
Welcome. Now take a week to really understand the choices you've made.
Just a week to make sure this is really what you want.
All feels final after a week. So I hope you enjoy your
7-day
purchase.
return period. Alrighty, guys. So yes, do have a good Thursday, and we'll meet back on Monday.
I'll send you that letter probably tomorrow after work.
Please do, as well as Brent. Okay.
Later.
Guys, have a great night.
Night, everybody.
Hi, y'all.
Night.
Good night.
Thank you all for those that stayed with us. Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday. Stay safe.